Hello. Hello everyone. Welcome Moonites of YouTube and Twitch chats. Wait, why am I so floaty today? Okay. Alright. I think this position is good. We're continuing Raging Loop. Maybe finishing it today, but I doubt it. Probably like one more stream after it, max 2. I hoped to like to do a lot more today, but that's why the stream is starting earlier, but I'm late an hour anywhere. It's supposed to be an hour early, 2 hours early, but it is an hour early to the standard time. Okay, Palat, hello, good, thank you for the like. So yeah, it's run long a little bit. Like we reached episode 10 today, and that's kind of my soft limit for a series, but we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Welcome, my child. You were cleaning your file storage? I was too, like, just before the stream. I really have to, but, you know, the digital kind. I have to buy the disc. I think I'm going to do it after the stream. Yeah, I'm glad you choked. So I wanted this stream to be like long, like maybe even 8 hours long. But I have a few things to do today because my new microphone came in. I have to order the disc. I have to clean my room. I have to clean in the cage of my bunny and let it out to run for a little bit. So it might be just 3 hours stream after all. We'll see. What kind of game, Mario Downloadic? Okay. Last time we reached an ending. Second major ending. Everyone died. Even though we completed the feast, and everything seemed fine for a few weeks. We came back to the village and everyone died again anyway. So our guy just jumped to the river and now we're looping back.
Hmm. 興味深いわね。思いっきり神道的な発想だけど、どういう由来で伝わったのかしら。
Ah, coffee machine that gives you any drink. STP game. That sounds like a only good kind of STP. What kind of game is that? You're just making drinks? Is this like a bartending? Okay. So we're looping back when we're giving them a locum to stay in. So she's going to the dorm. He was going to stay in the shed, but in the shed there was no toilet. So he left in the night to take a piss and then he died. So we have to swap rooms with him. We have our own hut, but we have to give him to him because our hut has a toilet, so he won't have to live outside to live. And then he will live, I mean. Hello, Painter, good to see you. Hello, my child. Okay.
変化した鳥居、お守りをいただく名家、霧の時に限定されたみそぎの風習。マロードの艦隊はしないみたいだけど。
Wait, weren't we playing this on this screen? Yes, that's much better. The game is based on an and there is a woman, and you have the option to give her any type of drink, like anything. You can type anything, and it will do something. Ah, alright. Hello, Ken. Good to see you.
不思議だわ。こんな偏僻な農村になぜ。
やっぱりそっちのが向いてそうだね。
あった。これは。
ゆうちゃんが寮の部屋でいいよね。それで僕がここ。
Recap of the story in the description, Ken. There's a document. A lot has happened, but in short, I will say that it's like a mafia game or Among Us. And this, by the way, the recap is kind of messy, so if you don't understand something, ask away. But yeah, and there are different roles with different powers, and there are wolves killing us. And now, but our guy can loop back every time he dies. He goes back to the beginning, so he can try and try again, like ReZero.
あ、よかったら下の小屋は橋本さん使われませんか？こっちは手狭ですし。
大丈夫大丈夫。どこでも寝られるから。
Okay, I'm skipping through because we read that.
これから住むんだろ？
No,
早いところ家に馴染んだ方がいい。
by the way, I love Hashimoto's voice and his voice acting. Okay, no, I will take the shed, you go to my room. This was it. If I let Hashimoto-san take the prefab, his death would be unavoidable. By keeping him alive, I should be able to create a different timeline. Simply surviving wasn't enough. That meant I had to try all possible options. I had to reveal all the things I was ignorant or afraid of. For all I knew, I might have been overlooking some minor yet important detail. But first, I wanted to try more impactful changes. Letting Hashimoto-san survive would have to greatly affect the timeline. That already happened once with Mamiya-san's survival. It even changed the Guardians people received. I could still remember the last group. I'd become the snake, took out the wolves, and decided to live alongside the survivors. Most importantly, Rikako-san. Those sentiments had earned me wait. Okay, sorry for that. That's how it is when you live with a family. Remember, the smallest thing can change the timeline and butterfly effect will start affecting. Yeah, exactly. Those sentiments had earned an unreasonable, cruel conclusion. I could still remember the sadness and despair, but I couldn't really understand it. Why had I forgotten my fear of the unknown? Why had it been so easy for me to decide to move to Yasumizu and live alongside Rikako and Matsu-san? Was I that kind of person? I didn't know why, but it definitely seemed like I wasn't really myself back then. It felt like I'd become a part of something greater, not just an individual. The gears all snapped into place and brought forth that tragic ending. These feelings and guesses coming to my head left me without a clue as to where to go from here. A part of me did feel like fate or something divine existed and that I couldn't escape its control no matter what. But my knowledge, discretion, perception, and intuition wanted to deny that line of thinking. There was no absolute fate. If there was something like that, it was either someone's elaborate plot or just a product of my imagination that seemed like it. I wasn't being a conspiracy theorist here. Or a nihilist for that matter. However, I wanted to reject lines of thinking that stifled my ability to come up with ideas. If I could think creatively, I might be able to find gaps in these seemingly impenetrable bars jailing me here.
細石君、どうかした？
Wait a minute, if the smell didn't affect butterfly effect, does it affect your walking, talking and touch will affect? What do you mean?
気にしないでください。
I'm going to try to replicate the Hashimoto-san's voice.
僕は今後ずっとあそこに住むんですから、橋本さんはこの一晩だけでも楽に過ごすべきです。
しかし、
Skashi. I love this kind of voice. It's very, it has unnatural maybe is about mean, a special, unique kind of voice that I would like to know how to voice act.
藤吉村にはマロードを丁重にもてなす文化があるそうですから、その一員となる僕もそうすべきだと思うんです。
まれびと信仰？確かにロケーション的にはしっくりくるけど、ここの現状を見るとピンとこないな。それってあの樋口さんから聞いたの？
Ah, crap, that was the info Rikako-san guy had given me last look.
まあよくしてもらいましたよ。こうして家まで手配してくれて。
久石君、人がいいのね。
え？
Nope, not at all.
ご好意はいただいたらどうです、橋本さん。
じゃあ、いただこうかな。
How do uh, uh, I'm speaking like him? No, that's it's such a unique voice. I have no idea how to do it. I think I have to record myself trying it out so I can get immediate feedback how I sound. I mean, if you are in the beginning, the time where it started, if you walk differently, another different path, does it affect the, I don't know, I mean, it could, but it doesn't have to. Depends. All good. After parting ways with them, I went to Kaori-san and had her help me get a shabby blanket, some newspapers, and a water bucket. There was only one bucket they could let me use, and it was a pretty bad state, showing once again just how dire Yasumi's supply problem was. The newspapers weren't daily news, but some old ones brought from Kami Fujiyoshi as material supplies. I spread them out on the floor and placed the blanket on them. That was my sleeping spot ready. I'd also bought a portable toilet and at that convenience store. Now, if nature called during the night, I wouldn't be faced with the difficult choice to either die or piss myself. After finishing up the preparations, I, just like last time, returned to the dining hall. I was given some shishainare again, and somehow ate it all.
あら、平気そうね。お口にあったかしら。
案外いけますね。
That was a bit of a lie. I just came prepared for it because of my experience from last time. I still wasn't used to it enough to declare it good. Just what kind of boost would go with this? Then, like last time, I went on to fix plates. Last time I learned that the symbols of the Higuchi, the Uematsu, and, when I got in the snake, the Himigurama symbol, even if it wasn't too clear. The Nosato mentioned had their owns at the gate, so I now knew them all. This info could possibly lead me to the truth, so I had to remember it. Some time passed, and like last time, the students came back.
ただいま。あれ。
The bright yet tender Yasunaga Kuribe. His tenderness was mostly towards his family though. It was very human trait, which was a good thing. I felt bad for him for getting caught up in something like this. Whether he was an ally or an enemy in the feast would greatly affect how it went. I didn't want him as an opponent. That much was certain.
見知らぬやつ
The free-spirited and slightly immoral Chikamochi Kamoshida. It left quite an impression on me. As a wolf, he was a threatening individual who could do some horrible things with a straight face. But what would he be like this time? And then there was her, Haruaki. Last time she'd been brutally murdered, while the time before that she sided with the wolves as a badger. She wasn't much of a contributor to the feast. I considered her to be a troublemaker, rather than anything else. But
そうか。落ちてきたか。己、幾度かやり直しておるな。はるちゃんは夜中寂しがって一人で抜け出したんだ。お泊まり学校。それで山道を抜けて、わからない。大人は安水の手前で見つけたって言ってたけど、みんな安水で何か見たんじゃないかって噂して。そのせいかわかんないけど、それでしばらくはるちゃんおかしくなっちゃって、みんな狼つきとか噂して。
she was the closest person to the mysterious surrounding Yasumizu. She'd lost her parents to the previous feast, disappeared once, then started talking strangely.
偉大なる神を下ろすのは相応の儀礼にのっとるべきで、簡単に勝手に取りつかれるようなものではないと。
The village heads insisted that this wasn't any sort of possession, but a mental illness. However, the fact it was treated using Uematsu's special ability to take in such things made it seem entirely possible that the trouble surrounding her was of a divine origin. But there was something I didn't really understand. Oh, the best CG in the whole game, guys. I didn't know how, but last time Rikako-san healed me of Akoten poisoning. She sucked it out. I knew it with my own body that this ability was more than just a religious rite and had an actual physical effect. That didn't necessarily mean that it would work on mental illnesses too. Honestly, there were too many things that didn't make sense here.
その汚れは私にも引き取れない。
I didn't know the rules. It kinda freaked me out, but for now, I had no choice but to set Rikako-san issues aside. What mattered now was Haru-chan. She had parental issues and strange relationship with her granddad. And all in all, she was a delicate young girl going through a complicated time in her life, and I didn't quite know how to deal with her. Fooling around with her didn't work, and Casanova-type characters seemed to scare her. I tried to not to do much and appear harmless, maybe that work.
おかえりあなたたち。こちら急遽安水に移り住むことになった夫妻子さんよ。
どうも。
I bowed with an empty expression on my face.
兄ちゃん、アンドロイドだ。
I had to do my best not to fall over at that.
なんで？
だってなんか人間じゃないみたい。
おお、はるちゃんが僕より失礼だ。
I'm not acting human. That's what people often tell me.
すみません。こないだ見た SF 映画にハマったみたいで。一応人間です。
どうも、牧島春です。
She wasn't as wary of me as last time, at least I still had no idea how to approach her.
どっかで会いました？
Who is Haru? I mean, she's here from the beginning, Articus. That's a deep question.
いえ、この辺りに来たの 初めてですから。
ですよね。
Oh, she has some traces of memories. Did she have memories of my seducing? No, of previous love?
なんだこれ。かおりさん、ごめんなさい。
Yeah,
ちょっと
as
手拭いかなんか
same
もらえま
as
す？
Chiemi. Something similar had happened last time too.
ん？
It wasn't impossible that someone else had memories of the previous times. Particularly this girl, considering her mind held traces of madness.
何？
Crap, I stared at her for too long. I had to talk it off.
いえ、僕も何か引っかかるものが。関東に出たことは？
ないです。
そうか。じゃあきっと何か縁があったんでしょう。
Don't say it to a girl.
どうしたの？真っ赤だよ。
いや、そんなことないよ。ほー。
Huh? Was she easier than I expected? Maybe Android like coolness was the way to go with her? Whatever that was.
織部さん、こちら補修が完了した食器類、いかがいたしましょうか。
The word madness reminds you of Azatov, Alice in Black Souls. Everything reminds you of Black Souls, Articus. Cool manner of speech, robotic movements, playing with people's impressions was a bad habit I had.
じゃあこっちへ。さっきそんな喋り方だったかしら。
了承、実行。どうもありがとう、メッサーシュミット。
Message me?
暗い必殺人間バナナ。
Human banana? What are you thinking again, Chikamochi? Mochi closed in on me, shouted some weird skill name, instantly undid my belt, and brought my pants down. Ooh! Look at this MILF expression. She's into it. She's impressed. Let's hold on that frame for a little bit. Let's appreciate the artwork. Wow, Haruaki, flashing children and widows. Yeah, it's a hint that he has monster size. And that's something that will, for sure, will become relevant later. Oh, Haru is into it too.
すっげーパンツだ。
こら、近持くん。やっていいことと悪いこと
Oh,
でしょ。
Melf is really into it.
いや、今を除いて仕掛けるときはなかったろ？
But if you look at this as a joke, this was definitely well timed. My Android-like coolness, whatever that was, instantly became a gag. His skill left me so dumbfounded that I just froze in place with my pants down, effectively giving a treat for the ladies and waiting for a response. How did the girl see this pantless android-like cool guy before her? And again, what was android-like coolness anyway? 'We're anime now. Truly, we became anime. Not a positive reaction. Of course not. Mochi's prank effectively gave her the worst possible impression of me. She beat our balls. Haru-chan had kicked my exposed ass over and over. The two boys stopped her, and then she, breathing heavily, fled the dining hall. The guys followed soon after, leaving just me and Kaori-san.
僕は悪いでしょうか。
後で全員叱っておくわね。
She was alright ever since then. It was awkward as hell. I distracted myself by getting back to fixing plates. Eventually, we were joined by the old wolf guy Meiko and Rikako-san. I wasn't quite done with my job yet, but just like last time, I was given a break, so I went outside.
嵐を見と毛が生えり
夫妻師さん、お疲れ様。
Ah, Fusaishi-san, I see you were hard. Yes, I were as hard. Getting close to Rikako-san was important for both survival and finding out the truth. Wow, we're flashing to all the CGs from the game. I still had some affection for her. Look at how small she is. You don't realize that she's a lolly until she's in her hands. As well as memories of our time together. However, yeah, we really flash back to all the CGs. Last time when I felt a similar way about Chiemi, I was hit with a big surprise. It wasn't just Chiemi though, the Feast of the Yomi Porch seemed to bring about a total change in the nature of people. If Rikako-san became a wolf this time,
我らを生かすこの山、神内山の化身、神内明神様の神内山のお守りは日かがちふましらみからすよくもあやしよみびとなきにせん
I was speaking. When did I went mute? Because I think I clicked the mute button, but I wonder how long ago. It took an easy tone. I looked away and saw Chiemi snickering as she waited for the right time to pop out. You don't know how long ago you heard my voice? Not too long, okay, that's fine. I didn't say anything of value anyway.
くくれやひとひにひとり切り立った
あ、お疲れ様です。
あれ
Ah, she knew exactly what she was doing with this sudden appearance. How mischievous.
狩りでもしてきたんですか？
ああ、惜しい。肝臓じいちゃんの獲物の解体の手伝いをちょっとですね。
なるほど、似合ってますね。
何ですかそれ。なんか傷つく。
Crap. I suddenly remembered that she was like back then and gave a sarcastic comment. Wait, what did he say? Ah. If she'd been telling the truth back then, she'd wanted to kill me ever since we first met. That meant that even now she was... Hold on. Did that mean that all the stuff I'd jokingly said about her being a murderer was on the mark? After all, the 2 shotguns were hidden in the room even then. Hold on. The first time we met, our very first encounter was among the rocks near Saranaga. I picked up her flashlight, then she called out to me. What was she even doing there? It was late at night, yet she'd taken a flashlight and gone down a dangerous cliff to reach a locally taboo area, Saranaga. She'd also said this.
ちえみさんはね、ただ単に最初から殺したくて殺したくて殺したくて殺したくて殺したくて殺したくてたまんなかっただけ。そう言ったら里帰りしたのだって殺しがしたくて戻ってきたようなもんだったしさ。
Those might have been nothing but words to make herself seem like a big bad wolf she was. However, it wasn't unlikely that she'd come down to Saranaga because she was doing something worrying. She'd probably been there on this timeline too. We just hadn't met there. Maybe this time she'd actually finish whatever she was doing there? Well, no one had gone missing or anything, so it probably wasn't murder, at least. It still made me curious. I was definitely attracted to her chill, tact, and mystery. But this time I would focus on exposing the secrets of Yasumizu itself. He who hunts 2 herds catches neither. I could only consider her to be a potential hazard. You think she's hiding something?
いやいや、ワイルドさがハンティングなイメージに合ってるってことですよ。ちへみちゃんは猫科の猛獣って感じ。
I think everyone in this village has secrets.
お、いいですね、ちえみちゃん呼び。ついでに肉食獣に味見されてみます？
Okay, this line is fire. You can taste me, Chiemi. I will allow that.
なんとハレンチな。私もリカコとお呼びください。なんだそれ。
僕も下の名前でどうぞ。
But I must have changed. I'd still start to decide what I would call each other, so that was fine by me.
イチャイチャしてんのよ、パンツマン。
Suddenly we were joined by Haruchan, holding a stick. Was actually getting chased by a girl because of loot stuff. What was this? A 20th century manga?
パンツマン？パンツマン？パンツマン！
I was worried that the nickname would spread, and I really hoped it didn't. I couldn't have predicted that I'd run out of time just calming Haruchan down and preventing the nickname from taking root in their minds.
夕霧が。嘘。
We're speeding through it. That's cool. ばー。Was she afraid of the mist because of whatever happened 8 years ago?
はるちゃん、落ち着いて。ちえみちゃん、彼女はどこに？
In the spur of the moment, I went and called her by her first name, which I was pretty sure she didn't like, but no one would care, right?
私が寮に連れてく。春明さんはどこに？
ああ、そうだ。今日は僕は上のプレハブに泊まることにしてまして。
どうしてあんなところに？
僕は明日からずっと寝泊まりするからお客さんにいい場所を譲るべきかなと。
春明様、素晴らしいお気遣いかと。
何ごちゃごちゃやってるの？急いで。リカコ。
わかりました。メイコ、みそぎ、物意味、夢枕よ。
I'm fighting with my hair right now, so if you see me move the weirdly, that's why. I don't know. It doesn't want to calm down today. Just flies all around.
ねえ、わかった。
春明さん、 抜け道教えるから上まで一緒に行こう。はるちゃん歩ける？霧。
Oh, we have to listen to her. Those are hints.
息が追ってくるの。爪の音が。
I looked at Chiemi, she nodded, and I picked Haru-chan up.
いや、
She was pale, her expression was empty, and her body was shaking, locked in a fetal position. Just what she seen in the mist. What had she gone through? I hesitantly tightened my grip on her. She meekly grabbed onto my jacket. I had no idea if I could get along with her, but it wasn't impossible. Is the sheep and rabbit a secret animal for the moon? I mean, I never heard of the sheep, but I heard the rabbit. While on the move, I noticed Hashimoto-san. Right to the hut I provided him, so all seemed good on that front. After leaving Haru-chan in her dorm room, I said goodbye to her. Chiemi and the two guys there, who were waiting for Haru-chan in worry, before making my way to the construction site.
寮の裏手の小道通ればすぐ行けるから。足は滑らさないよう気をつけてね。
She'd also told me about how to prepare for the feast and was generally pretty nice about it too. It was pretty annoying that I couldn't just tell her that I knew it all. Oh, shut up, I know it. I mean, sheep jump on the fence above the moon and makes you sleep counting sheep. I wonder where that came from, actually, in folklore. By the time I'd arrived at the prefect, the sun was down. I began by checking how I'd fare here. I'd taken only the bare minimum of food and water I had here. I came prepared, but I didn't want to have to use the bathroom until morning. This was a shabbiest sleeping spot yet, but since I was still pretty awake, that allowed me to think a bit more. It was time to assess the situation. Okay, thinking time. Let me just check a few things. Alright. A big fart incoming, guys. Touches ground. Why are you touching ground? Okay. Let me just sit back a little bit more. It was time to assess the situation. Looking for grass, I see. First of all, there was two things I had to keep in mind. How Yudai Hashimoto-san joining would affect the feast, and whether I could find out much about the feast and Fujiyoshi from Harumashi Kishima. The format would probably be made obvious by tomorrow. If he died despite all they'd gone this time, I'd be all out of ways to help him survive. I'd have to start considering if there was something inhuman at work that was actively trying to prevent him from joining. If he joined the feast though, the garden assignment would definitely change. Just like they had when Mamiya's and I joined. I'd be neither good nor bad. However, the info I'd gained the first time, when I couldn't participate at all, and the second time when I'd participated as a snake were completely different. Naturally, there was a change in human relationships and who benefited from them, and now with this change I would get to know people I hadn't interacted much with yet. Especially Haru-chan. I could only hope that being the Andy man didn't result in her avoiding me. That reminded me, Mochi was the reason for my new title. Was he the biggest obstacle in my path towards the truth? Nah, he wouldn't admit it, but the guy liked Haru-chan and was jealous that I was getting between them. Oh, so he was the one who killed Haru-chan last time. Was the sad face I saw on him the day after just an act? I had no idea, but I could totally imagine him killing her only to regret it right after. Oh yeah, Yasunaga-kun also revealed his feelings for Chiemi right before she killed him, didn't he? She instantly shot him down though. It seemed like she felt the same way with the first loop, so that was probably true. Or maybe I just wanted to think that way. Then again, being liked by Chiemi meant that she wanted to kill you, so I wasn't sure if I was happy about that. That aside, as a wolf and a human, he was a player skilled at debate and consideration. His words were rarely rarely far from the mark, and he had influence over his mother's and friends' votes. He wasn't self-righteous or some kind of loner, and with a good backer spurring him on, he could be an excellent human player. If he was a wolf though, I'd instantly know it's from his lack of enthusiasm towards the feast. Maybe that would be considered cheating, but whatever. Meanwhile though, Chiemi had done some bold things during the last feast. She wasn't a very active participant in the meetings themselves. This probably because, just like Mochi, she played consciously as a wolf and avoided drawing attention to herself. Taking that into account, Chiemi's whole hang me act on the first day was pretty impressive. It was bold for a wolf to make such a self-sacrificing play at that stage. But it was at a point where people weren't yet ready to hang anyone, human or wolf. She'd managed to make herself look like a human without any real risk, and kept the act going until the end. I'd heard that Chiemi had a decently big impact on the feast I didn't participate in. If she became a human, she would surely be a valuable asset to the humans. Personally, I didn't want to be enemies with her again, but I had no idea what she thought of me right now, before the feast had even begun. She herself had told me that she'd always wanted to kill me, which meant that the kindness she displayed to me so far could have been an act. If someone is always crazy, that's a red flag, like Among Us. Oh, but only if you know that person, you know? Because someone can be naturally quiet person, then that wouldn't apply that much. It can be, you know. You have to know someone to know when they are acting off, basically. At least a little bit. That wasn't a pleasant thought. Rikako-san too seemed to be pretty fond of me. That was probably because of her idea that I was a special person who could do something about the feast. I wanted to do something about it, but saw no possible way at this point. I couldn't help but worry that I'd disappoint her again. She was pretty impassive in the feast, and her votes often prioritized the local, folklore, and fairness. She did some pretty dangerous things though, like trusting me with any real reason to. However, as a descendant of the Uematsu family, she knew full well just how scary the feast was and how to deal with it. The fact that she knew Meiko's position was pretty important too, and would surely be important now. I wasn't sure about Meiko herself though. If she got a garden and Rikako-san handled her well, it'd be all good. But if that wasn't the case, I couldn't expect much from her in the feast. And her votes were based on how she felt at the moment. She would be an uncertain factor and nothing more. Rikako-san let her vote as she pleased, probably to hide that they were communicating, which wasn't great. The old man who cried wolf was even worse though. What the hell was that guy? As an old man, it really didn't seem like it. Kanzo-san had said that he'd survived the previous feast. He'd even said that anything important during the feast. He'd never said anything important during the feast, but had a vote worthy, the same as everyone else's. He also pretended to be the spider last time. Though Rikako-san came out as the spider's makeup representative, she was essentially the real thing. Claiming to be the spider despite that was only meaningful if you were the badger. After all, if the badger presented themselves to the wolves once enough humans were out of the game, they would have a latent ally, which would be pretty good for them. Also, what do you think of Bill and Nostalfo art that my friend made? It was very early sketch, so I didn't think much. It looks promising. Or spiritual animal, yeah. You know, you should just have him as your profile picture. And if he was capable of thinking that much, it meant that he wasn't just senile. Quite the opposite, in fact. But that idea didn't click with me, click with the fact that he always ended up getting hanged. What was he even after? I had no more than enough evidence to conclude he was insane, or that just made spending time thinking about him more of a pain. Now, while Kanzo-san's action and goals were obvious, he was hard to control. Had been handling the heavies based on his experience from the other ones. It was relatively logical approach, but he wasn't flexible at all. He was extremely overbearing when it came to the flow of the conversation, and didn't mind making unnecessary sacrifices, which eventually led to a lack of stability. He also had a weak point in Haru-chan. When it concerned her, he would become dangerous and violent. The other elder, Tei Yamawaki, was simply a hyper-traditionalist who resented the younger folks. In certain situations, it was easy to get her to vote right, but in others, she was nothing but a hindrance. She was also Takumi-san's, a key person's, weak point, and handling that whole matter was difficult. The essence opposite was Yashitsugu Oribe. He didn't care about tradition and hated the elders as well as the village heads. He was also the intense type. He could easily mess up the feast. It was also possible for him to make peace with his mother and brother and tell Yasunaga faction. But if left to his own devices, he would break the rules and get eliminated from the game on the first night. Handling him was difficult. His mother, Kaori-san, was generally a passive player who followed Yasunaga-kun, but she had a tendency to do unexpected things. When Yoshitsugu-kun had died, she tried to poison everyone's food, and she also tried to bend the feast rules and leave a dying message. She was the sole source of decent food here, and honestly, I wanted her and her sons to survive until the end. You know, he should have just cut the sentence, I wanted her. And that would be a perfectly accessible sentence. Nah, he's speedrunning it, so he won't improve it. The art! Ah, I see, that's a shame. Then there was the man who understood and loved her, Takumi-san. He was important as facilitator and mediator, keeping Yasumizu unified, despite the tribulations of the feast. He had a lot of weaknesses, though, such as his antagonism towards outsiders and the village heads, as well as his tendency to do unnecessary stuff on his own. However, all of it was outweighed by his popularity, charisma, and sheer strength, which were useful every now and then. Overall, he was someone I wanted to depend on. He really had to form a trusting relationship with his brain, though. Now, Kinosuke no Satoshi was pretty hard to evaluate. He often said things that didn't have to be said, couldn't read the mood, and tended to create conflicts between himself and Yasumizu's people. But despite expectation, he ended up surviving. He actually wasn't wrong most of the time, but his presentation alone often ruined it completely. He was one of the few village heads in the group, so I could at least count on him to prevent any unfair votes towards Rikako-san. But besides that, I just remembered that he was a doctor. Couldn't he examine the dead bodies? Why did I have to do it when we had him around? He hadn't insisted on examining a single corpse so far. Was it because he was afraid of dead bodies or something? What the hell? That kind of joke wasn't funny in a situation like this. Beside them, there were the journals. Mamiya-san had been pretty much manipulated by Chiemi, so reading her was hard. If she could keep her cool, she could probably make some decent contributions to the feast. Also, I feel like that her knowledge of folklore and occult stuff would be necessary for my current goal, finding out the truth. As for Hashimoto-san, he hadn't survived this night even once this far, so I couldn't say anything about him. However, though, the first impression had made him seem like nothing but some fat guy. He did show an impressive capacity for logic and reason. If both Mamiya-san and Hashimoto-san survived, I imagine they would perform really well in the feast. Of course, it was hard for them to pass the barrier of all outsiders faced here. Then there was myself. I was the most suspicious here, and the one most likely to get hanged. Last time I'd been able to survive because I was the snake and leveraged my role well. It helped me get Takumi-san and Rikako-san over to my side. I was about to barb, so it's when I made a weird noise, I think. It helped me get Takumi-san and Rikako-san over to my side, as bad as that sounded. However, there was no guarantee that it would happen again. It was best to assume it wouldn't. In that situation, I'd have focus on helping my side emerge victorious, with myself still alive rather than just helping my side emerge victorious. What? Ah, okay. I understand. Just a little bit different sentence. Weird sentence here. Even if I could loop, there was no guarantee that I couldn't get into a situation where I would be hanged no matter what. There was a heavy thought to have, but I have to believe I could make it and keep pushing onwards. Were we ever hanged? Because I'm thinking... No, we were hanged, okay. I remember there was one bad ending when we get hanged. Because I just thought maybe if we get hanged we won't be able to loop anymore, but no, we can. I had to keep going. Okay. Let me brush my hair a little bit and tie it up because it's just crazy. My hair doesn't want to listen to me. Articles, what hour is it right now for you? I know that it's night, right? Already. Midnight. So you would probably be happy with if I streamed earlier too. But it's almost 1 a.m., not midnight. It's crazy that you actually come to my streams then. You're a night owl, aren't you? Because then I often stream to like 5 a.m. for you. What are you doing your whole day? Then do you just sleep in during the day? Okay. Hairbrush, now tie it up. Okay. Alright. Let's continue it. Suddenly, I felt drowsiness come over me. Had I been so busy during the day that I ended up more tired than I thought? Just time to cleanse myself. I took off my clothes, I wiped my body, switched into my spare underwear, and that was that. Then I locked the shabby looking lock and returned to my bed, if you could call it that. Well, I don't do much but just wait, do chores, and play on my phone. Alright. What would I do if my door was suddenly knocked down and some scary werewolf monster came in? I tried to keep myself on my toes, but my brain knew that wasn't how the feast worked. So it just relaxed and let me to sleep. I'd be safe today. I wouldn't die today. I'd think about what come next later. How long my hair is? Mm, past the middle of my back. A little to the middle of my back. A little bit longer. I mean, you can see, right? Here, this long. I felt strange pain all over my body. Next, I felt that something was way too red. I could sense the light of the outside through my eyes. I thought that meant it was down, but that wasn't the case. The morning sun had a bitter orange color, but this red right here was darker and colder. It also felt like my eyes weren't even closed. Why was I unconscious with my eyes open? Not only did my body hurt, but it was cold as well. Too cold. I was sleeping on the ground. My hair was on some gravel, while my hands felt gross and mist. It was cold. My senses awakened. No, it was more like something that had been cut off, had suddenly returned. It wasn't quite the same as typical morning, and the bizarre sensation took me at a moment to adjust to. I was outside. The moment I realized that all my body left my face, I tried to jump up, but then I realized my body was sluggish, and that my body temperature was extremely low. Okay, I'm guessing that we're going to be the wolf this time. And we are being summoned. Had I been out in this cold mist for that long? My mind was in better condition than my body, at least. Why was I outside anyway? Had I broken some taboo that I didn't know about? Did the prefab count as outside? Would I be taken outside and killed because of it? Maybe there wasn't even need for a reason like that. I could have been that I'd been used as an example. If you take Hashimoto-san did the feast prep this time, no one would die tonight, but perhaps that was a bad thing for great Lord Shinmei. The existence of the penalty, the corruption, was made through example. A simple mess of a corpse was enough to prevent people from trying to escape or walking out at night. However, no one broke that rule. No example could be made. But it was actually entirely possible to make an example without anyone breaking any laws. If there was a corpse tomorrow, everyone would just assume that the victim had broken a law. No one would question the Punisher's decision. Well, we hadn't had any unexplainable victims of the corruption thus far. That was my assumption anyway. Rikako-san going nuts made absolutely no sense, but it wasn't even clear if that was the corruption, so I would just leave it at that. Besides that, all instances of the corruption so far seem to have completely plausible causes behind them, so I'd assume that the Punisher was fair. But could I just trust their benevolence? Now, in this situation? You thought the game was going to end soon? I mean, it is ending like soon, but not like right now. We're approaching the ending, but I never said it's like we're like right now at the ending. I was an outsider who barely who was barely known here, and that kinda made me the best person to make an example out of. Had I been too optimistic to assume I wouldn't die today? My throat was dry, which made me feel even colder. My irritation and panic broke my tolerable limits, and I finally regained my sense and control over my body. There was red light all around me. It was source. Its source was distant, but it lit up the entire mist, giving it a bewitching, unsettling shine. Maybe both uneasy and scared. It reminded me of the first mist I'd ever seen, even though it was late at night right now. However, unlike the first time, I didn't feel any beasts nearby. I strained my eyes to look into the mist, and realized that I had someone at my side. Or rather, I guess that there was a humanoid silhouette within the red light. It was a girl, Haruaki. Let's go! We are a wolf with Haru. I guess. I'm guessing. That's the case. As I tried to stand up, I staggered pathetically and collapsed again. I could barely even speak. She noticed me, slowly turned her face towards me, and looked down at me with eyes showing no hint of emotion, though or lie, thought or lie. She was even smiling a bit.
不在さん
I heard my name. It surprised me, but I somehow turned to the other side and saw Koryoribe-san. Oh, we're wolves together! Her eyes and expression were almost exactly like Haru's-chan.
神様がおいでになりますよ
Was I still half asleep? Was this some sort of dream? Why were were here anyway? But if I could actually see the god that Chiemi and Rikako-san and Haru-chan talked about, I would accept it in a heartbeat. I turned to the direction that those two were facing. In red, misty darkness, I saw the outline of a large tree. It was the hanging pine. That meant that this was the graveyard. And there was the three lights, or rather sets of them, within the mist. It took me a moment, but I realized they were eyes. The vague silhouette seemed human and yet not human at the same time. Was that God? Why had they appeared before us? Questions filled my head, my thoughts became dull, my sense of logic froze, and my vision contracted. Suddenly God spoke. That's Kanzo's voice.
誠の伝えを教え。
Yeah? I think. Right. I have dead skin on my feet. I'm ripping it apart. It was like a rumble, but it was definitely a voice. Oh, where is the voice acting? We will now tell you the true legend. I tried to follow what he said.
狼未だ滅びず。
Dead? What? Oh, dead? Rules aren't dead yet.
滅びしは主上なり。
It's the humans that are dead.
人、かがち、ましら、カラス、クモ。
Human, snake, monkey, crow, spider.
皆、黄泉より落ちけり。
All of them have risen up from Yomi.
あらば、 山が掟によりて
The law of the mountain says.
皆人なきにせん
That they all must be killed. Wait. I realized something. Okay, we will now tell you the true legend. The wolves aren't dead yet. It's the humans that are dead. Humans, snake, monkey, crow, spider. Oh no. Okay, all of them have risen up from Yomi. I thought it didn't mention humans, so when it told us that we have to kill them, I thought maybe only the guardians, but no.
何時ら狼に選ばれり
We're chosen to be the wolves.
読み人た
Hell
や
yeah, we're wolves!
山河を済ますべし
Destroy the Yomi Bito and purify the mountain and river.
我ら老面を授くれば
We will give something to you?
必ずこうぶりてみそぐべし
You must wear it and cleanse yourself.
さらば
Do this and the
汚れの
do that and the corruption mist shall not harm you.
こちらが身を犯すことなしさても
But since the mist is so dense,
古希こと我ら無地なを
we
つ
will also send you the badger.
明晩無地な読み人の一人にいい模様をして
Are those just guys in costumes?
さすべし
I feel like they are just guys in costumes. The voice of the god doesn't sound very godly. Tomorrow night we shall inspire one of the Yamibito to become your ally.
これすなわち無地なの加護なり汝らにあたう我らがことよせなり
This badger will be a guardian and it is our help to you. Ah, so the wolves always got such a detailed explanation. There were low in numbers, humans received older guardians, they were under pressure to lie at all times, and were surely conflicted about many things. The wolves were actually at quite a disadvantage here. However, they had more information, they knew their allies and enemies, and about the existence of the traitor unknown to the humans.
さりければ人世に一人の血を流すべし
Anyway, draw the blood of one of human a night. Anyway, seriously? Did he have any idea how hard that was?
さらずはなきにせらるは汝らなり
Ah, otherwise you will be the ones to die. Threats too. Wait, we had days when no one died. So I don't... Is this really the truth? Or are they saying if we just ignore the quest and don't kill anyone, we will start dying eventually?
夢夢疑うことなかれ
Do not doubt this.
夢夢
You
疑う
just repeat it for effect, surely. He really wanted us to believe him. So the three of us were wolves. I had no idea if that was true. Well, hell, I didn't even know if this was real or not. Hello? I cannot read your name. Ayami? I think Ayami, if I remember correctly. Then the red light became weaker, or my consciousness began to fade. I had no idea. Do you know English? Do you know a lot of it? I don't know if I should speak to you normally or try to like communicate you with my broken Japanese. Okay, you speak English, Spanish, and Japanese. Great. Oof. Crisis avoided. I don't have to. You don't have to suffer through my broken Japanese. Then the red light became weaker, or my consciousness began to fade. I had no idea. And soon enough, it was all dark. Okay, so where the wolves? We'll start killing now. My body hurt. The familiar sensation made me open my eyes slightly. Okay, give me a moment. I'm not wrong, right? It's Ayami. Even my hiragana is kind of rusty. Mm, did you play this game? Or did you read it? Rather, this novel? I'm going to go grab some water while you answer. I'm back. Alright, let's continue. I saw the bright but shabby inside of the prefab. Though the dirty, curtainless window, I saw the mist outside. This was reality, wasn't it? I lifted my upper body, turned a bit, moved my head, pinched my cheek. It all felt real. I then tried to stand, and I could. Looking at my phone, which was about to run out since display had no electricity, I saw the correct date and that it was 8 o'clock. I'd slept in pretty late. Remembering something, I lifted the bottom of my shirt and looked at my stomach. What I saw made me freeze. Oh, Kami. The Lord of the Hunt, the wolf. Slay all the Yomibito. Cleanse and purify or die. It wasn't a dream. Or was it? Cleanse, purify, dream.
そんなもんは上藤吉の方々が私たちをバカにしてから考えたもんじゃと思ったのよね。だけどそうじゃない。本当じゃと親内様は加護をくださるとともにそう言われなさった。
おじいちゃんが死んだ日に私の夢に出てそう教えてくれたんだ。
The day Oji-chan died, he showed up in your dreams and told you about it. Right now, the guys that spoke to the god that spoke to us, their voice wasn't quite Kanzo-san, but it was the most similar out of all the characters. So maybe he's just orchestrating all of it, pretending to be God. Great Lord Shinnai told the real story through dreams, making the people of Yasumizu change drastically. They went from those who hunted wolves to those who hunted humans. It wasn't clear which side was right. I didn't even know if there was a right side to this. But I didn't feel much. I didn't get any sort of hatred for the humans or motivation to kill. The first time Yasunaga contestant and Haru-chan all had some sort of cold, calm anger towards the humans. Last time Chiemi had said that she was intent on killing me from the start, As for Mochi, my first impression of him was weird but harmless kid, and that somehow became insane killer.
まあ私らにも色々あって最後まであがかないといけないことになってるからさ。もう質問とかやめてよ。面倒。
However, she also said that she was struggling and said it didn't sound like it had anything to do with what she wanted. Regardless of what we were like before, you became a wolf by getting the wolf as a guardian. What was Mamiya-san like in that regard? She had worked as a wolf, but that was either just to survive or because she was urged by Chiemi. There was no zeal or loyalty there, so she ended up being silent. That meant that the real story only worked on the people of Yasumizu. That was the only way things made sense. But if that dreamlike experience was true, then this time the wolves were Haru-chan, Kaori-san, and I, right? I'd seen them in the mist and red light, and they certainly didn't look right. It wasn't sure if it was actually a matter of sanity, but they just accepted that event as natural, a change born from the real story, an event set up from the start. No, I also had to consider the possibility that it was just a dream, and that me being chosen as a wolf had nothing to do with it. I still couldn't be sure if they were the older wolves. I absolutely couldn't just go out to the dining hall and ask them if they were. I had to wait until night. Suddenly,
大丈夫か？
春明さん、春明さん、生きてる？春明さん。
someone knocked on my door. I quickly wiped off the bloody garden mark on my stomach. It was dry, so it came off easily. I washed my hands in the bucket and locked the door.
無事か。
よかった、春明さん。
What happened that you guys are so shaken? I saw Takumi-san armed with a farming tool and Chiemi, who was happy about my survival. She had tears in her eyes. The fact that she was the same person as that vicious mass murderer made it difficult to be happy about this development. Hello, Kirill! Am I more in the mid game or late game right now? I'm more in the late game. There is a recap below in the description, both for the previous episode and for the series, so you can kind of get what's going on. In short, it's a Among Us / Mafia game where we have our roles with powers, and our guy can loop like in a ReZero or something, so he can try and try again. Right now he is the wolf, so the killer. If this was an act, this reminded me that she herself had told me I had a bad eye for women. Without any of that, she really seemed like nothing but a gentle, cute young woman. You carefully walked through the mist.
まさか本当に霧が立つなんて不吉なことだって聞いたけど。
うん。どこまで聞いたのかな？
必ず死人が出るって。
誰だよ、来て。
それはまあともかく。
いや。
まだ誰も死んでないよ。
Good.
もうみんないるんだ。
うん、食堂に。ごめん、春は。
みんな霧が出てパニクってんだ。後回しにして。
I'm skipping a little bit of fluff dialogue because by this point we heard similar things a lot. Of course they come for me last. I was at the bottom of the totem pole here. And despite that, I was a wolf. Crap. How was I supposed to survive Kansas-san's Can You Just Die today? Hold on. What was I thinking? Was I actually gonna fulfill my role as a wolf? I mean, I know you're a serial killer, Haruaki, I believe it. I would actually create those awful piles of corpses. I didn't want to do that. I wasn't beholden to some weird legend. There was no need for me to play along with this insanity. Honestly, I could just reveal who the wolves were on the first day. That'd keep the sacrifices minimal and... no, that result in my own death. I had to think carefully. I had to survive. I had to survive and escape the loop. This wasn't a matter of just leaving Yasumizu or Fujiyoshi. I'd actually ended the feast once and escaped, yet the death loop still continues. Hell, the Feast of the Yomi Porch and the general mystery surrounding Fujiyoshi still wasn't over. Honestly, I had no confidence I had been out of the right mind when I decided to actually move to Fujiyoshi. It felt like all the characters and stage props here were gathered to bring about nothing but tragedy. Until I solved all the mysteries here, the supernatural forces... Yeah, you're welcome. Until I'd solved all the mysteries here, the supernatural forces here would continue to terrorize me no matter how far I ran. There was the possibility that the surviving as a wolf would solve everything. Though that wasn't a pleasant thought. Perhaps I'd come back to life, return from Yomi over and over because of the local Yomi inhabitants. So in order to solve this, I had to become a wolf and kill them all. Right. This could be the right path.
Haruaki さん
どうしたの？
どうしたの？難しい顔して。
ちょっと、いろいろ不安で、これでも結構怖がりなんだ。
無理はねえよ。
Would I have to kill them too?
お前、血とか平気か？
どうしてです？
人は死んでないけど、ちょっとね。
Their expression turned dark. I saw the plaza.
狼様は3人おる。
Just like last time, the Taiyama-san was at the Akiba with 3 Yomotsu Okami symbols pointed at it.
どういうことです？
後で教えてあげるからね。
The exchange was exactly as I remembered. I still knew about all this, so I had to be careful to stay in character. I couldn't forget that just about everyone here had their first face today. They didn't have the knowledge or experience, and none had killed anyone yet. If I went and said something weird, they'd suspect me, so I had to act like the confused newbie. As I approached the plaza, I noticed a strange stench. Though it resembled the smell of death, I was now intimately familiar with it. This one felt more beastly.
何があるの？この先。
見ない方がいいよ。
I disregarded her warning and headed towards the source of the smell. Huh. There was a pile of corpses in the middle of the plaza, though they weren't human. From what I could tell, they were the remains of mid-sized four-legged beasts. They looked like dogs, but their bodies were in such a horrible shape, I wouldn't have been able to tell if they were foxes, tanuki, or wolves instead. Some had their limbs or heads removed, and a lot were just cut up really sadly. Bloody full, eyes open so wide you'd think they'd fall out. If I had to guess, there were at least 20 of these here in this pile. Where did I find all of them? It was about as tall as the back of a smaller adult. It reeked badly. But more than that, it was just disturbing. Crimson for countless fangs, claws, eyes. This seemed like an original idea for a fantasy monster. Indeed, monster was very spot apt. It was almost a monument dedicated to Yomotsu Okami. Perhaps this was the example this time?
絶対触んなよ。後で全部皿長に捨てる。
I wasn't planning on touching it. It was basically a head of potential diseases. I wouldn't dumping it in a river be illegal though? Screw it, this wasn't the time to worry about stuff like that. Well, now we're worrying about it. You threw dead bodies of humans there.
まあ、犬の死体とかは街でも見るし、これが人間だったらどうなったかわからないけど。
This probably didn't affect me much at this point, to be honest. I'd seen too many horrible human corpses.
生きとったか。
Outside the dining hall, there was Kanzuma Kishimashi gun in hand. Along with him was
久石君。
おはよ
Ohio. At the entrance there was Mamiya-san, who looked uneasy, and Hashimoto-san, who looked strangely composed. After greeting them, I went inside.
久石春明さんも無事でした。
これで全員だな。
まあよかったわ。
I looked around and yeah, everyone was here. A total of 16. What a party. At one seat there was Haru-chan. Her face was pale and her two friends were seated next to
こ
her.
こにいたら安全だから。
ご飯食べれそう？
無理。
She had hated them as before, but this time it seemed even worse. She also made herself as small as possible, and it felt like she was averse to their care. This seemed like a mix of her fear of the mist and the rejection of the villagers she'd had as a badger.
というか、休みずで一番怖がりなんだよね。
Scaredy cat.
昔話の汚れとか、昔からすごく怖がってたし、だから、はるちゃんが狼でも、誰も殺したりできないと思うんだな。
A girl who was afraid of the corruption. It started 8 years ago when she tried to visit Yasumizu when it was covered in mist and saw something that had to be it. The idea, or certainty that the people around her were Yamibuto had to scare her pretty badly. Maybe she really was a wolf? Cory-san on the other hand looked okay, though that came too soon. A moment later, I heard a crash from behind the counter.
ごめんなさい。片付けるわ。
あ、僕がやります。というか、下働きなのに手伝いもせずすみません。
Ah. Without waiting for a response, I hurried behind the counter. There was broken porcelain on the floor, along with some rice and soup. Some food as a last loop, basically. I already knew what was here in the kitchen, so I wetted a cloth, wrung it out, and started wiping it up. Then I spread out a newspaper and collected the porcelain. Suddenly, I felt something touch my upper arm. I turned around and saw Cory-san crouching and staring at the floor with a pale expression. She was shaking, I could tell from her touch. There were tears in her eyes, and her half-open mouth made her look like she was about to sob. Her whole body was basically saying that she couldn't bear this.
香織さんは気分が悪いみたいだ。ちょっといいかな、安永くん、吉嗣くん。
母さん大丈夫？
具合悪いのに無理してんじゃねえよ。
As I helped her get up the stairs, Cory-san looked at me with eyes that seemed both pleading and scornful. It felt like she was asking if she really had to kill these wonderful children with her own hands. This mission was too much for her to bear, and from what I could tell, she wanted to share the burden with me to make it easier for herself. It was safe to assume that the dreamlike experience had, indeed, showed me the other wolves. Calm down, though. Calm down? Though it seemed pretty conclusive to me. This was just what I won. Had they missed the wolf symbol and the pile of dog corpses? So it wasn't weird for a sensitive woman to become a bit sick. Even Chiemi and Hisako-san didn't look so good. The only ones who were clearly okay were Rikako-san, who looked like Noah mask most of the time, and Meiko, who probably had her eyes hidden. So as long as they didn't act any more suspicious, it was all good. Jesus, Haruaki yaps so much in his head today. He gives me a lot to read. Mm.
配膳は僕の方でします。近持くん、君の後ろにある棚から丼を一つ持ってきてくれないか？
おお、すでに置き場を熟知してるとは。だが、僕のことはモッチーと呼ぶがよい。
I might have been the one in trouble here. I told him to call me Hassan and decided that I had to act more ignorant of things. After we ate, I pretended to be busy in the kitchen. Oh shit, a lot of barking from me. Chiemi and Rikako-san looked like they were wanted to talk, but I avoided them because I felt like I might actually accidentally spill the beans to them. Of course, we had to wait until Takumi-san and the Oribe brothers cleaned up the plaza, and I had tons of things to watch. Last time the feast began at about 9, but now that Kaori-san had gone to bed for a second time, I'd have to happen lepen. Jeez, I cannot read anymore. It have to. It will. It would have to happen later. Okay. It didn't show any signs of starting even at noon, so we had lunch.
獅子肉使わなきゃね。私切るよ。
てめえ釜で米炊けんのかよ。仕方ねえな。やってやっから。
I got some unexpected help, so I ended up moving only to cut the veggies and add spice. We ended up with lots of decent rice and pork, boar soup. Oh, boar soup. I wonder if they know anyone even planning to make the feast because no one died. So maybe no one even is thinking about it. I hadn't expected Yoshitsugu-kun to know how to boil rice. It probably helped out Kaori-san a lot.
はるちゃん、食べられそう？
食べるわよ。あと、慣れ慣れしく下の名前で呼ばないでほしい。
失礼いたしました、お嬢様。
やめてよ。パンツマンのくせに。
I hadn't accepted that name, but trying to resist it would have probably made her antagonistic towards me, so I just laughed it off.
心配かけてごめんなさい。いい匂いね。誰がしてくれたの？
ちえみと吉次くんの手伝いのもと、だいたい春明さんが。
まあ、吉次もありがとうね。
飯炊いただけだっつうの。
食べられそうですか？
ええ、いただくわ。
Everyone noticed that her face was pale as before, but no one pointed it out. Kanzo-san was beginning to become irate, and it was clear we had to begin the feast soon.
これ食ったらやるか。
Everyone, even Kaori-san, understood what was going to happen. No, two people didn't.
いや、上の道路が塞がってるのは分かりましたけど、下の沢を通れば出られるんじゃないんですか？
下は危ないのだよ。気持ちはわかるがね。あえて試さずに救助を待つ方が良いのではないかね。
さっき芹沢さんは救助は来ないって言ってましたよ。一体何が起きてるんですか？
まあまあ、おばあさん、いずれ説明はあるんですよね。
ですよね。
ええ。この後、宴の時に話しますよ。
今してくださいよ。妙なことに参加する気はないんですが。
ケイちゃん、まあまあ。
まあまあ。Hearing them talk made me nervous, but at least they kept everyone on their toes. Or was that a bad thing for us wolves? The only thing the humans could do against the wolves was lynch, so we had to keep their motivation to do that to a minimum. At the very least, that was relatively easy when no one had died so far. Kanzo Makishimashi would definitely insist we hang someone, and I had to somehow shoot him down. Of course, I had to avoid standing out in a way that would affect my chances further down the line.
やるぞ。集会堂へ行け。
We all lined up and the elders went in first. They joined their hands and hid their faces. It was all a unique sight, and once again I copied them. The class team ended up at the lower end of the group, but the complete outsiders well below even me.
いいんですか？
恥じゃないと邪魔くさいでしょ、僕。
I couldn't give any strong agreement, so I just gave him a light in response. We're all here for the first time. That's a little bit hype. Okay. something to remember is that Hashimoto-san, the big guy, was a war journalist. So I imagine he's pretty powerful, you know. He leveled up there. Rei-san declared the start of the feast and Rikako-san handed out some divine sake.
しばらくはなさそうだよ。
Hashimoto-san drank 3 full cups without anyone urging him to, and Mamiya-san griped that he was drinking too much. He also had 3 more helpings of lunch. It was appropriate for someone his size, so I hadn't even commented on it. With him being the first to drink, the rest of us were a bit taken aback. Rei-san explained the legend on the feast.
普通に犯罪行為ですよね、それ。
Just like last time, after asking this and that, Mamiya eventually took the strong stance on the whole thing.
しかしやらんと死ぬのはあたしらなのよ。
だからってそんな。
最後まで聞こう。意見を言う前にまず聞くべき質問がたくさんできそうだ。
Hashimoto-san the goat.
わかりました。
They killed him off every previous loop early because they didn't want us to have him too much. He's too powerful. Mamiya-san still had a stern expression, but her cold temperament made her seem like a completely different person from last time. After that, Yasunaga-kun pointed out things Rei-san missed, like the amount of people who the wolves could kill, the extra info on the spider, and whether any of us were in a feast before. Then,
その過去というのはどうやって通知されるものでしょうか。
Hashimoto-san, who wasn't here last time, quickly pointed out more info that was missing. Kazu-san then explained that they appeared on the stomach.
なるほど。だから体を吹かせるのが掟の一つなんでしょうかね。
God doesn't want to touch sweaty skin.
の肌には神様も触りたがらんと。
That's a good point, actually.
あんた意外とよくしゃべるな。
ああ、失礼しました。仕事の時はああいう感じの方がやりやすいんで我慢してます。
He smiled, astonishing everyone yet again. At this point, all of the rules except for the badger had been revealed.
なんか調子狂っちまったけどよ。どうすんだ？実際のところ犬が何十匹か殺されただけで人は死んでもねえ。こんなもん上藤吉の誰かの嫌がらせじゃねえのかよ。昔はよくあったってばあちゃん言ってたろ。
That was news to me.
そりゃあ、あたしのおばあさんはね、よう上の人らがふざけて頼みずに獅子の血流したとか言ってたけどね。
今はさすがにそのようなことはないと思うのです。
上藤吉の村民の大部分は安水のことを無視しているように見受けられる。そも接点はほぼなく、
I will start.
の資料関係者は牧島勘蔵氏とつながりがあるが、彼らはむしろ畏敬しておりますから。
I will start cutting some long lines of dialogue short. I mean, I will read them, and I will leave them long enough on the screen so you guys can read them, but some lines are just way too long spoken. And now I want to get to the point.
どうだか。
まあ今新内さんのもとで狩りができるの肝臓じいちゃんだけだもんね。
That was some interesting info.
それはともかくその通りで、今時休みずに悪さしてやろうなんてのは学校の子らか長者くらいのもんでしょう。
またそうやって長者を不当に中傷するのかね。彼らもそんなに暇ではないのだよ。
不当かな。あの山祭りなんて休みずに対するいじめ以外の何者でもないと思うけど、訴えれば勝てるよ。
ちなみに近持ち
なんだろ
お前じゃないよな、こ このいたずら。
おお、あり得る。
That's possible. It was?
しかし残念。いたずら犯として信用されてるのは嬉しいけど、これは僕じゃない。単純に無理だよね。あんだけ犬をいっぱい集めて殺すのって。
まあそうだよな。
まだ僕が野里だった時、誕生日にいっぱいモルモット買ってもらって池に沈めて遊んだことなら。
Jesus. This is, Chikamochi, I would say he's a psychopath, but he has some attachment to Haru, at least. If not straight up being, you know, in love in some way. But I don't know, at least it's a dangerous child.
何それ。
あ、すいません。こういうやつなんです。
And that's just how he is. That's not an excuse, Yasunaga.
最低。うん、もうやんないよ。殺すならネズミとかゴキブリにしてよ。うん、ネズミを殺すぞ。
I could tell that the weirdos here were making Mamiya-san uncomfortable. But Hashimoto-san was unfazed as always. I mean, he was in a war. Had a feeling that the new info was killing here came from the fact that no one had died, so tension levels were low.
とにかくどうすんだよ、宴は。
よろしいかね。
He made the first move? I recalled hearing that Takumi-san was the one who moved the first time. It revealed that he was the snake. Last time one of the monkeys, Kanza-san, suggested that I die. The flow of the events had changed, so maybe he didn't have the guardian this time. Perhaps it wasn't a good idea to decide who had and didn't have guardians based on that alone. Just adding Hashimoto-san had changed the course of discussion completely. And this time, Chiemi was the girl that criticized Fujiyoshi with her city dweller mentality, basically bringing her back around to how she was in the first loop. Last time, besides the strong words on day one, she stayed passive, only hesitantly making moral objections. By becoming a wolf, she greatly changed her approach to the feast. No, there was Kiyonosuke. I'd expected him to suggest we use a popular vote, but...
私は彼に勇気ある代表者になってもらうのが良いと思うのだがね。
He said that, while pointing at me.
それは僕に死ねってことですか？
そんな言い方はしたくないが、君はそういう目的でここに来たと聞いた。最初の一人というのは選びにくいものだよ。しかし、最初の一人がいてこそ、カラスの加護は名乗り出ることができる。
I almost started thinking, is he a wolf? But no, we are the wolf, we know the wolves. I didn't expect that idea to come from him. That was basically the same approach as Kanzo-san's. Hadn't he voted for me the first day too? Crap.
失礼ですが、ご自分で何をおっしゃってるか理解されてますか？
そうですよ。理由もなく他人に死んでくれとかよく言えますね。言い出しっぺの法則ってのがあるってこないだテレビでやってたぞ。
If he was by himself, his suggestion would have no effect. However,
わしもノサトの青秒炭に賛成する。
his agreement was bad news for me.
どういうこった、おやっさん。
人ならば安水のために死ねる。わしもその気でおる。じゃがもうしばらくは宴の進め方を見てやらんといかん。
Okay.
なんでてめえに見てもらわなきゃなんねんだよ。
わしはこれまでに
Two fists. We only knew, I think, about one. You are telling us now?
どうすればいいかわしにはわかる。必ずくくらねばならん。そして人をくくることを恐れれば人は負ける。植松の若えのにもう一杯ついでやれ。
Crap. Things were moving on just like last time. I played it off with some vague words back then, but would it work now?
ちょっと落ち着きましょう。こんな一方的な流れで誰かを殺すことを決めてしまうのは肝臓さんが言うことは部分的にはわかりますが、万一肝臓さんが狼だった場合も同じことが言え。正論は 狼にだって使える武器です。正しそうだからって飛びつくわけにはいかない。
安永、そもそも何が正しいというの？くくらなきゃならないのはどうして？
タイバーの話じゃ、僕らは宴の外で人を殺すことを禁じられてる。破れば汚れで死ぬ。今ここに16人いて、13人が人、3人が狼。
Yes, that's correct.
たとえデタラメに一人殺していっても最終的に狼を殺しきれる可能性はある。でもやらなきゃゼロだ。宴をサボり続ければ狼は一晩に一人確実に殺せるから、13日後に必ず僕。ただ
We know all that.
この中に本当に狼がいたとして、本当に人を殺す気なのかどうか。もしただ単に霧が出て、
狼は本当に来るぞ。
来るぞ. Old man has spoken. Painter has spoken. Everyone was surprised that he suddenly began to speak. I was pretty used to it by now, though.
陛下、狼は言うてわかるようなもんじゃね。黄泉は山じゃ。ありゃ山から言われて汚れを。
Wow, it's the most he ever spoken. Yomi's then mountain.
何を言うとるのよ、おじいさん。親内様は人の味方じゃ。
Wait, what did he say? Yomi's the mountain. Oh. So, I mean, if Yomi is the mountain, that they could as well lie to us about that the humans are the Yomi, you know?
山に味
A mountain doesn't take sides. So, is mountain the neutral party here?
山は気まぐれでむごい。腹が減りゃこうやって育てた俺ら宴するしかねえの。
Not much he said came as a surprise to me, but I sure didn't expect to hear it from him. I wasn't the only one. The weird way he presented it made most people here uneasy and maybe even scared.
じじいも昔宴に出ておった。ボケてもその時のことは覚えとるんだろう。狼はくくる。
ちょっといいですか？
Everyone looked at me with sharp eyes.
かつての読み意味の宴ではどうやって一人くくる人を選んだの？
一人一票で
I'd guessed as much. Apparently the popular vote was tradition at this point.
今回もそうすべきだと思いますか？
Yeah, exactly, Painter, you're spiritual animal.
皆さんはどう思われます？
My question caused some whispers among the people.
そんなもんで決めていいのかよ。
うん、多数決で選ばれたら文句言わずに死ななきゃならないなんてひどいよ。
でも他に一人を選ぶ方法はない。
Oh, there is better way to choose. Just let me choose. I will make all the correct choices.
話し合って決めればいい。それで決まらねえならくくるべきじゃねえだろ。
Dictatorship for the win.
しかし全員一致などあるのかね。当の本人は同意することなどなかろう。
はーい。じゃあここでみんなのために死んでもいいよって人挙手。
Chiemi had used this to gain everyone's trust. Rikako had used this to convey to me that Meiko had a guardian. Basically, it was just a pure strategy. If they didn't need to take the risk this time, they simply wouldn't do it. That meant that it was likely that Meiko didn't have a guardian this time. What was I to do here? I thought for a moment. I concluded that if I raised my hand here, everyone would gladly hang me. No matter how kind-natured and reasonable they tried to appear, they actually didn't care much about me. Chiemi and Rikako-san would value me more than most, but there was no arguing that they favored their own. I could totally imagine them prioritizing everyone else and tearfully voting for me. Otherwise, if my fate was already been decided at this point, they would vote for someone else to send them a message or keep them as on their toes. It was definitely a dangerous situation for me. There was one way that I might have been able to save me though. I could do what I'd done last time. By sounding like I could be an asset to them, I'd buy time for myself, and finally reveal that they had a guardian. I'd have to make sure the real one with a said guardian was gone at this point though. That meant using the time I had to find and kill them. Could I really do that though?
誰もいないよ、匠に。
威勢のいいこと言っといて、てめえはどうなんだよ、匠に。
俺はまだ死ねない。
待
って、一応注意。加護を持っている人は注意した方がいい。
どういうこと、兄ちゃん。
He went on to give the starting warning that those with guardians should keep their status hidden. However, it was better to go against that warning when the snake or crow found a wolf or when a fake appeared, and the monkeys were an exception to that. The explanation for the monkeys was the same as last time. The thing about the snake or the crow finding a wolf, as well as the appearance of a fake, weren't mentioned back then.
加護者は狙われやすいから黙ってた方がいい。でも喋ると圧倒的に有利な場合やその基準としてはやはり偽物が現れ
偽物なんて出てくる。
きっと出てくる。
The Senegakun went and briefly explained that the wolves had to actively lie to win. He also said that the humans should avoid lying as much as possible.
宴のことで嘘をつくのは狼だけ。そうした方が後々困らない。思うんだけど。肝臓。
今の説明で。
This was the time. Kazu-san and Yasunega-kun spent a lot of the time beginning last time fighting over the lead despite both being monkeys. With Haru-chan and Tess and Des, the one in charge ended up being Takumi-san. If a calm and collected Takumi-san ended up assisting Yasunega-kun like last time, the wolves would be at a huge disadvantage. Now, if Kanzo-san ended up in charge and controlled the fist with an iron fist, the order would collapse, perhaps to our advantage. However, that increases my chances of getting killed. Yeah, tough luck, Haruaki, tough luck. I had to find a balance. I nonchalantly yet unhesitantly raised an arm. A few others followed my lead. Chiemi, Rikako-san, Kaori-san, Yasugo-kun, Kiyonosuke, Shitakumi-san, Mamiya-san, Hashimoto-san, Mochi. I'm Jesus. Did he really have to mention all the names? He backed down? Yasunega-kun and everyone who raised their hands amounted to 12, a clear majority. His polite and calm explanation bore fruit. But was Kanzo-san the type to back down in a situation like this? So he had the conditions for his agreement. Yeah, let's get to the point, guys. So far, a lot of things I already heard, and I kinda get that because we had to, like, go through that again in some way, but I feel like it could have been much shorter, squashed together.
逆に話し合いで筋が立ってんなら多数決にしたってその
まあそれも匠にどうする？
わかった。
冗談きつい。
The bartering with Yasunega-kun had made Takumi-san agree to something he'd been completely disapproving of. Chiemi had realized that she had to accept it. She'd given up on arguing and only complained. Kanzo-san had a tendency to strong-arm people to get what he wanted, but he was good at it.
で、だいぶ話がそれてたけどよ。不採取をくくろうってのか？
Wow, he said it so casually. Things were looking bad for me. Suddenly I got help from where I least expected it.
今日は そのくくるでしたっけ？しなくてもいいんじゃないですか？
今日はというか、そもそもすべきじゃないと思いますけど。
もし殺さなきゃ殺されると明らかになったら僕は殺すよ。
Oh yeah, go and kill Hashimoto. That's my favorite character in the game so far. I mean, I like a lot of the characters. Like Haruaki is a pretty good protagonist. I like his banter with and humor with people. But like Hashimoto is just on his own a very good character. His tone was calm, but his words were terrifying.
妻と娘が3人。
Oh, wife and 3 daughters. Mamiya-san's eyes widened. She must have realized just how serious he was.
前におっしゃってましたもんね。仕事で死ぬつもりはないって。
だから皆さんの話をじっくり聞かせてもらったんですけどね。多分先手を打って処刑を行うと狼側に殺戮の理由を与えることになるんじゃないですかね。
Makes sense. This was a general observation that no one argued against. Probably because they didn't have a good comeback.
大体ルールは飲み込めました。考えを言いたいですが。
Okay.
よろしいかな。
Hashimoto is about to say the thing. I don't know what the thing is, but I'm sure it's going to be great because he's smart. He's my spiritual animal.
どうも。間違えてたら君詳しそうだから指摘してくれるかな。
はい。
じゃあこの手続きでは高確率で5人以上の死人が、
Yeah, at least 5 people.
最短でも狼3人
With perfect if we played perfectly.
そうですね。雲の加護によって守られない限りは。
I mean, yeah, Spider could protect the humans, so, but it's unlikely.
つまり今誰かを処刑しようがしまいが夜に誰か死にますね。
Yeah.
そりゃそうだな。
しかし今日くくらねば狼は減ることなく宴は長引くのだがね。
Yes, but right now choosing randomly who to hang gives a greater chance that you will hang a person instead of a wolf because there's so many people right now. So it's better to skip it because chance that you will manage to hang a wolf are pretty small.
それはおかしいですね。今日の処刑は明日カラスのカゴ者に名乗り出てもらうための処刑なんでしょう。狼は絶対出てこないと思われる。そりゃあ果たして有効なんですか？効果はゼロとは言わないが考えてみてください。明日こう言われる。私がカラスのカゴ者です。昨日処刑された不妻子さんは人でした。
He speaks pretty slowly, but I'm not going to skip his dialogue, at least for now, because I just like hearing it.
よしんば、不妻子さんは狼でしたと来て、他に誰も名乗り出ないから信じてどうなる？まだ14人残っていて、狼も2人残っている。狼に的中する確率は19% 弱から 14% 強に減って、
Yeah, the chance would be even smaller even if I was a wolf and now I am, but still.
思うに早かろうが遅かろうが勝負がつくのは人数がある程度減ってからなのは間違いない。だから今日一人 何の確証もなく処刑するというのはどうかなと。
それはそうかもしれません。
それは詭弁だ。そうやってくくることがなければ人は絶対に勝てんのだぞ。
その通り。ただ今日この時だけは待ってもいいんじゃないです今日。とりあ
Oh fuck, I skipped his dialogue.
誰かを処刑すれば狼側には本当に殺されるんだと殺戮を正当化させてしまいます。
Yeah, that's true. That would be like justifying the killing of humans because then we would protect ourselves. But if they don't lynch anyone and we don't kill anyone, then there might be a possibility of just no one killing each other to the end of the feast.
逆に向こうが先に攻撃してくれば人はその
Hashimoto is so smart. I love him.
繰り返しますが今日の夜確実に誰か一人が死ぬんです。処刑の有無に関係なく狼が本気ならね。しかし今夜の被害者を狼の報復と捉えるか狼の卑劣な
Yeah, that's true.
攻撃と捉えるかには処刑の有無が影響。
If the wolves right now kill someone, if there was no lynching, then that would be like an information for humans that they are just murderers. But if we lynch someone and then they kill someone, it could be interpreted as either revenge or self-defense.
要は狼が本当に殺してからでないと僕らは強い心でもって誰かを処刑などできないってことです。まあこうやって牽制することで狼も躊躇して殺人をやめることを僕は期待してますが難しいのかな。
それは
無理よ。
狼よ。なるほど。ただそうだとしても被害がないのに
The best argument.
攻撃をするという
Attacking someone when there's no victim is stressful, mate. I don't want that.
この状況でほぼ間違いなく狼ではない誰かに犠牲になってもらって僕らの中に不和を残すよりは今晩の一人に団結のための犠牲になってもらう方がまだマシだと思いますね。
You had a point. As a general rule, it was disadvantageous for the humans to waste an opportunity to lynch. However, making a preemptive attack when you had limited information and the chance of getting a wolf was low was extremely risky. Thus, it was a good option to prioritize my emotional superiority and unity. Not many people could argue against this. Hashimoto-san was just too good of a speaker, the opposite of a Kyonosuke. His suggestion was beneficial for the wolves too, but only for now. It would be far more difficult for us to kill someone tonight.
今聞いて僕も橋本さんのおっしゃることに一理あると思いました。実際まだお互いのことをよく知りもしない方が混じっている状況で誰か一人をすぐ殺して
それは私も思いました。おそらくですがこの読み意味の宴で最後にものを言うのは情報ですよね。
どういうことかな Q ちゃん。
誰が誰の味方をしたか、誰がいつおかしなことを言ったか、そういうのの積み重ね。人が嘘をつけないルールにしたことで嘘を重ねていく。そうやって狼を見つけてから対処するのがきっと一人の手がかりから全ての狼を明らかにするとか、そういうことも考えられるんじゃないかと。
なるほど、推理ってわけだ。そこまでうまくいくかは分かりませんが、狼を泳がせておいて情報を集め後で特定することができれば、それ以降無駄な処刑を行わずに済むから遅れを取り戻せるかもしれませんね。 それに今夜何もわからないわけじゃない。
Yeah, Snake will find out the truth.
誰か一人の正体を
I really want to base my next tabletop RPG character on Hashimoto-san. It seems like it would just be fun playing like a chill big guy like that, but a smart one.
そうですね。誤って蛇を処刑しないためにも今日は見送るのがいいのかも。
He presented the likely disadvantages that could emerge and provided ways to turn them around. It was really effective. Most here didn't want to kill anyone yet, but had to balance out the pros and cons of doing so. If they were told that the negatives could be made up for, they had no reason not to cling to that. Crap, I fell silent. Silent people were considered to be passive accomplices to the wolves. I had to say something.
確かに有効に思えます。ちょっと露骨な話ですが、もう一つ利点がある。
何かな。
狼側は当然優先的にカゴ者を殺したいわけですよね。しかし今日処刑を行えば狼側がカゴ者を選ぶ選択肢を狭める。
Yeah, that's true. Also, you could kill a potential guardian.
特に本格的に容疑者に選ばれた人がカゴ者だったりすれば、その人は自分の正体を明かさざるを得なくなる。人は嘘をつかないし、狼は互いの正体を知ってるので、狼は確実に
Yeah, that's true as well.
しかし現時点でカゴ者が名乗り出るメリットはゼロです。まだ誰も何もカゴによって情報を得ていないから。
ただ狼に殺されるだけ。
そう。
確かだね。
Huh. Never considered that the not killing anyone first was the right move. Depending on the situation, of course, but mostly. If no one died yet, yeah, that's the best move. Killing all the pros and cons.
もちろんカゴ者を引く可能性は低いですが、ただの人をくくってしまえばその分狼が殺す候補も減る。狼でない人は今13人。1人いなくなれば12人。ここから狼はカゴ者を選ぶ。
母数が減ればそれだけカゴ者が当たる率が高い。
Yes.
やっぱり初日にくくることは弊害が大きそうに思いますね。
True. There's no point in doing that on the first day. Actually thought that this way of handling the wolves was good for the humans. From what I could tell, Kaori-san and Kaharu-chan would be found out sooner than later. I had my looping and was generally a scumbag, so I wasn't as shaken by the situation as they were, but my situation wasn't exactly solid. I could fall into traps set by humans too.
どう思う？匠に。
狼が絶対に殺すって前提で話が進んでるのが気に食わねえが、殺されないならこっちも殺さないってのはわかるな。おやっさんは？
狼は確かに殺す。
そうかもしれねえがよ。
が、でけえのの言うこともわかる。
What?
今日くくるかくくらんかで票取れ。それで決まりゃ、それで。
Yeah, okay. Kanzo-san just, I assume, seems to just respect Hashimoto because he's older and has kids, has lived experience, and just seems like a adult, like in the room. So I think he just respects him, and that's why he's willing to listen to Hashimoto-san.
植松の記録せ。
はい。
あ、忘れてた。
あ？
君、猿は名乗り出ない理由がないって言ってたよね。
ええ。猿は相互証明できるから語られにくいし、それ以上の能力はないから狼にも狙われにくいから。
なるほど。というわけで僕は猿です。ちなみにもう一人の方はちょっと読みが分かりづらいのと
漢字
が潰れてて分かりづらかったけど、なんとかださん。
Anko Dasan. Wait, Meiko no Uematsu no.
おーうんかも
Ah, Kamoshida.
僕は猿だ僕は何回言うのよ
そっかモッチーは猿だったんだ
Pure relief, Yasunari-kun was glad that his best friend was definitely not a wolf. Such behavior was a good way to guess whether someone was a wolf or not. Reactions were important.
橋本さんが新説ぶった狼じゃないってことが確かになったわけだが、改めて票取っていいか、処刑を行うか。
違う。今日くくるか、死人が出るのを待ってくくるかよ。死人が出たらどうあっても一日一人くくる。そう約束せ。
あ
あ。まあしょうがないんじゃない？
Yeah.
構わんのではないかね。
僕もいいです。
Sorry, I'm like less patient with the dialogue. I just feel like we'll just get to the point. I heard all of it already. Or I just like filler dialogue that doesn't progress the story, but maybe people agreeing with each other basically. Yes, you're right. If we did that, it would be like that. Yeah, exactly. A lot of filler dialogue that sounds natural, but it's kind of annoying to read when I looped so much already. In no more counter-arguments, we continued to vote. The results came quick. The only ones who voted to hang someone today were the old wolf guy and Kanzashi. Everyone else chose to wait until the wolves made a move, so we didn't hang anyone today. The landing hall was much more pleasant place than it was in the morning. Okay, I have to go piss because I was holding in, so give me a few minutes and I will be back. Also, just standing up and walking will be nice. So 5 minutes. I'm back a little bit later because I was checking how much of the game I'm going to be left. So I checked like the votes of another VTuber that played it. And the bitch, she had like 20 more hours of streams from that. And from the brief glance I had, it's not like she did many other things. Like it's not like she stopped playing for like half an hour to talk or something. Like she was progressing. So what the fuck? When I was checking how long this visual novel is, I saw like 30 hours, 35. We're approaching that point. So what? Why is it so long? Or I don't know. I don't know. Maybe she was just slow with reading after all. I don't know. But man, that's giving me I'm starting to wonder if I should really play more of it or read more of it on stream. Like we'll finish the stream today, but I will think about it. And I will just maybe finish it off stream. I don't know. I was just it really bummed me out right now that I saw that many hours left. The dining hall was a much more pleasant place than it was in the morning. Yasumizu was a place full of decent people who readily accepted the idea that they wouldn't have to kill anyone today. The same applied to the wolves, or so I thought, but they didn't look so good.
面白そうな学問だな。もうゼミには入ってるのかい？
ええ、君吉先生っていう方で。
君吉さん。一度ラサでたまたま出会った日本人が大学の先生で、そんなお名前だったような。
ラサ？
あ、その人ですよ。専門がシナチベット語族なんで、たびたび向こうに行ってるみたいです。
なるほど。世界は狭いね。
橋本さんや先生にとってはですよ。
And the reason was Hashimoto-san. Once he stopped being silent, he turned to be extremely sociable and understanding. The dining hall would fall silent every now and then, so he walked around and talked to people, bolstering morale and seeming naturally suited to the role. So he's like a natural, like, moral booster of the group. He wasn't exactly a jokester, but everyone who talked to him seemed to be having fun. He'd even gotten a faint smile out of Haru-chan. I was jealous. I wasn't jealous or anything. I did wonder why Chiemi hadn't told me much about her specialty. And honestly, I had no right to be jealous. I'd already used my looping to get together with two women. Yeah, it do be like that. No, doing what I did back then seemed to the best thing to do in those situations. And putting Haru-chan aside for a moment, both Chiemi and Rikako-san were really charming. Chiemi was a bit unhinged at her core, but Mitsuji wasn't all that different. Rikako-san was, fun, and her two-faced nature was kinda attractive to me. But well, I really wasn't in a position to think about that what come after the mist cleared.
Haruaki様とお話ししたい。
あ、すみません。ちょっとこっちが立て込んでて。
すみません。失礼しました。
I was making dinner with Kaori-san. I invited her to do it so we could be well fed and ready for tomorrow. Of course, this was to distract her from reality. I didn't want her unpleasant nature to take over and make her throw in aconite into the food, so I took it upon myself to cut the veggies. Also, I watched what was going on at the dining hall. I could see most of their faces from the counter. Last time, the first day was relatively peaceful, but this day was even more relaxed. Tei-san's incessant prayers and Kazuo-san's continual state of high alert made it a bit uncomfortable, but that was it. One reason for the good atmosphere was that the fact that no one had died yet, so it was still possible that it was just some sort of a sick joke. Another reason was the presence of the one who died at the previous time, Hashimoto-san. He was a master at helping everyone lighten up. I could even include Mamiya-san as a reason. Hashimoto-san was alive, and she wasn't a wolf this time. So she wasn't hysterical like in the previous loop. Though she was writing something with a troubled frown on her face.
キューちゃんは取材のまとめかい？
記事にするかはわからないから、今のところはノーで。ただ、興味深いことは興味深いですね。
オカルト？
ええ。あまり日本的じゃないなと思いまして。
ほう？それはちょっと興味あるな。
これ続けても大丈夫です？
どうかな？
Okay, we already heard this talk.
でもまあ暇。りっちゃんは？
いえ、真珠は身車家の役です。
Things were going just like they had last time. Everyone was interested in what she had to say, and she revealed her knowledge about god slaying and servant worship. Susanoo's beating Orichi, Aesop's fables, Yamotsuo Kamiyaka Azanami, Dente-san became upset just like last time. The only difference was that I wasn't involved in the conversation.
OK です。ここまでにしましょう。ただ、ここで歌われているわらべ歌みたいな歌について。
Oh? She herself mentioned it, huh? Led to just about the same words as last time. Mamiya-san pointed out how the lyrics had a lot to do with the feast. She began questioning the parts she didn't understand, such as the badger, and Kienosuke, among other people, answered her.
興味深い話だけど。ムジナだけ今に残っていないのは不自然で気になるな。
The thing I pointed out last time was now pointed out by Hashimoto-san. He and Mamiya-san continued examining the relationship between prayer to Shinnai and the feast. Tae-san mentioned that the badger was a servant of the Okami-sama, and that there was a statue in the Shinnai shrine. She also talked about the gate against Sun's words, the badgers waiting for the Okami-sama to return.
なんだかいる気がするな。ムジナはこの
Among Us. He raised the same suspicion as I had.
さんが前の宴に参加してたってことなら、その時にムジナが出てきたからと。
なんですそれ、橋本さん。
そうだね。少し決め手にかけるか。
No, it was time for something new.
狼、よもつ狼、狼。
Yeah, Okami, depending on how it is written in Japanese, it could mean great god, or wolf, or great wolf, or everything at once. You know, it's a play on words.
橋本さん、私、すごいことに気づいたかもしれません。
何かな？
今更なんですが、神内明神の神内という名の由来って、どなたかご存知ですか？
Oh, some lore drop. She'd been curious about this in Kamifuji too. What of it, though?
神内さんは公式には猿なし山
Jesus.
という名らしいからね。
That kanji jump scare.
猿が猿に、なしがなしに置き換わったのだろう。
Saru probably became Saru, while Nashi became Nashi. And then the also reading changes, because there are multiple readings for kanji.
違いますよ、野里様。神内様は昔から神内様。明治の時に読めんからってお上
I see.
と聞いてますよ。
逆か。
つまりもともと神内だった。山脇さん、その語源については？
知りません。
多分、これは漢字トリックです。
Mamiya-san ripped out the page from her notepad and put it on the table.
神内。内の漢字は大と示すでなっています。
For big and show. She wrote down the relevant kanji. Okay.
これを組み替えると、
Then she wrote down the kanji for big, then shou to the right, and shin to the right. The result was
神の武士は示す編。実際に旧字は神だし、つまりこれは狼。
Wait. To the left, the side of the kanji for God. There's a radical show, and it's even more obvious. It's from old, okay, form. This means that the result is okami. Okay, a bit complicated. I would have to look like everything on the page. But yeah, it becomes great God.
神内様イコール狼様ということじゃないでしょうか。
Yeah, probably. What?
バカなことを。
The son shouted hysterically. You could hear in her voice that she was shaken up. Of course she would be. According to Yasumi's legend, the humans and servants killed the wolves, the Okami-sama. However, it reinforced my theory. I had lots of clues that led me to think that Okami and Great Lord Shinai were one and the same. His use of the corruption was one thing. Another thing was the fact that he was neutral in the battle between humans and wolves, or Yami beat any wolves. Yet another thing was the local outlook on life and death. If people went to Yomi upon death, they would go there regardless if they were hanged or killed by wolves. That was why they said rise not. It meant go to Yomi and don't return. However, the Shinai fate, the mountain was a place where corpses were buried, so it wasn't strange for it to be considered the same as the world of the dead.
ともかくイザナミは多くの神を生む過程で落命し、吸ったもんだの果てに根の国を支配する神となった。
根の国？
黄泉の別名よ。根の片す国とも言う。海の向こうにあるとも言うし、根の国に黄泉という場所が。
Maybe I was getting into it too deeply, but Nenokuni, country of roots, gave me an image of underground of tree-covered mountains.
待て。そりゃこじつけじゃねえのか？第一、狼を隠す必要なんてどこにある？
それこそ大神神社と差別化を図ったのかもしれないし、神道に組み込むために難解にひねったのかもしれない。あるいは信仰を隠す必要があったとか。
信仰を。
Like the faith? I mean, I'm sure there were a lot of prosecutions back in the day.
例えば、狼様を大っぴらに信仰できないような状況があって、その信仰を隠す必要があると、別の信仰の形をとって信仰を守る。例えば、江戸期のキリシタン禁止下におけるマリア観音とかね。
マリア観音? Didn't know that.
それに、神様の一の使いが神様本人と混同されるもまたよくあるわ。衝突を恐れずに言うと、伝説や神話はよそからの拝借だけじゃなく、政治的な要因も強く影響して変遷していくの。
Wait, this might not sit well with some of you, but legends and myths can change not just through borrowing aspects from other legends and myths, but also through political events.
古代、神話と政治は強固に結びついていたからこそ、政治のあり方が変わるときは、神話も形を変えなきゃならなかった。集落の合体によって、それぞれが奉じていた神様が結婚したり、戦争で併合された側の神様が古文や魔物に変えられたり、あるいは、かつて別々だった神様を同じ存在だってことにしたりね。そうやって力関係の辻褄を合わせたわけ。強力な神や悪魔ほど異象や変化、化身がたくさんあるのはそのため。忘れられた信仰がいくつもそこに融合されているの。今日残っているのは、そういった事情でねじ曲がって伝えられてきた伝承や神話。だから、多少の矛盾があるのは当然よ。
From all this, the most interesting is about with the seventh element merged, their gods would marry, while gods on places next to war would become the conquerors, god servants or demons. That's a good something to remember for world building. Actually, I should consider that when creating religions and legends about them.
だから、 もちろん真実はわからないけど、これで信内モーデの歌を読み解くと、だいぶ意味が変わってきそう。何しろ、歌には狼とお守りの対立関係が書かれてない。
That was true.
例えば、狼イコール信内さんは、未だに4つ、いや、5つのお守りと友好的かつ絶対的に怪しい読み人と人間に吹き込み、加護を与えることで相争わせていると書か
In other words, among themselves. Huh? She went that far with this audience?
すみません。さすがに、そこまでおっしゃられると。
Well, deal with that.
あまり愉快ではございません。
そうよ。よう知りもせんと。
But you admitted yourself that you don't know shit. Naturally, Rikako-san and Tai-san had something to say about that. Hello, Cimmerian. Good to see you. How are you doing today?
ああ、これはすみません。僕らとしては、伝説や神話に信憑性があると思ってるから、こうしていろいろ伺ってるのです。でなきゃ、そもそもこんなことに参加してもいないし、外に出るだの、警察に訴えるだの、騒いでいるでしょ
う。Long day at work. I see. I hope I can relax right now.
私がその役してますね。
芹沢さんは半信半疑ってところかな。実のところ今ここに完全に疑ってる人はいないと思いますよ。
How am I doing today? I'm doing fine. I got my new microphone. I didn't plug it in yet. Still using the old one, but I'm going to do after the stream. I will probably order some more disk space because I'm constantly running out. So on that front, pretty well. I'm happy. Overall, a chill day. I'm concerned about playing the more or reading more of this visual novel on stream though, because I looked not long ago how long it is, and apparently it's like, I thought I'm nearing the end because I looked before starting it on stream, it was like 30 to 35 hours, but now I'm like around this time. I thought I'm reaching the end, but I looked at another streamer's VODs and it's like 20 hours more from this point. So that's kinda bumped me out. Can't wait to hear your voice on much higher quality then. Let's hope that my voice will actually sound better with higher quality. Maybe my voice is horrible and the low quality of my current mic hides that fact. Okay, no one is actually suspicious yet.
ムジナは伝説から抜け落ちかけていた。伝説も宴のルールも同じく口伝によって伝えられています。
Okay, thank you for the offer, Cimmerian. I appreciate it. We'll see. I don't think I will need help, but I will remember if I do.
一番怖いのは、伝承に詳しい山脇さんや植松さんが、ご出念されていることが他にないかということですね。
Hashimoto-san is the man. He's him.
そんなものないとは確かに断じがたいですが。
植松様じゃが。
まあただ話はそんなに難しくはないと思うんですよ。織部安永くんだったかな。
あ、はい。
僕らはさっき人は嘘をつかないという方針を打ち出したけども、もし人であるにもかかわらず 狼に組みする者。その人はきっと、狼様のために嘘をつくか、あるいは暴れたりとかすると思うんだが、どう思うかな。
そうですね。ムジナがどうとかがなくても、そのケースは危惧するべき。でも、
嘘つきや暴れた奴は、たとえ人でも狼の味方。だから問答無用でくくればいい。
I still can't get over this child basically being disrupted. Look at him. He's annoying tag back, but you know, he clearly worked for this body. Yoshitsuru-kun, who'd been sitting at the corner of the room and staring at the wall in boredom, suddenly spoke up. He wasn't wrong in the least, which was probably intended. But Hashimoto-san.
どうやら本格的に、後ろめたいことはしない方が良さそうですね。
それは。
言われんでも、あたしたちは、これまで誠実に生きてきましたわいね。親内様はいつも見ておられる。
いいですね。素朴で。人間性にまっすぐ訴えるような信仰だ。
With that, I finally understood something. Yudai Hashimoto was the same type of person as me. He controlled people through speech and manipulated their emotions through words to put himself in an advantageous position. The difference between us was that his conscience, presence, and persuasiveness were far above mine. Yeah, he's better than you, Haruaki. I'm sorry that I have to tell you that, but it's just the truth. Look at his body. Look at his face. Look at his smile, and you don't hold a candle to that. And he was a human, an enemy to us wolves. Haru-chan was in a seat near Yasunara-kun and Mochi's, not saying a word. Pretending to pick something up from the counter, I crouched down and looked at Kaori-san. With her back to everyone, she cut veggies, and though her expression wasn't as bad as before, it was still full of anguish and unease. Time passed by, everyone chatted, ate a larger dinner than ever before, chatted a bit more, then split up. The only notable thing was the moment when Mamiya-san tried to ask Kanzo-san about the previous feast. Hashimoto-san stopped her though. I noticed Haru-chan make a face, and part of me was relieved by that. The previous feast took her parents, and it was the time she went into the mist and lived to tell the tale. So she saw something Kanzo-san in the mist do something, I assume. Maybe he killed her parents or something? It'd have been bad if she'd gone crazy again. Hashimoto-san seemed to have noticed that possibility, so he'd stopped Mamiya-san to prevent it. Was it really good to help him survive? A part of me actually believed that, sure, without him, I'd been a human and survived the feast, but it didn't solve anything. Becoming a wolf and making an enemy out of him was just an unfortunate side effect that came with letting him live, and I just had to accept that. After dinner, right when everyone was preparing to split up, Hashimoto-san whispered something to Takumi-san. Takumi-san's expression suddenly turned serious.
みんな、ちょっといいか。
Apparently, Hashimoto-san had told him to shoot, say something, and Takumi-san did exactly that.
俺たちは誰もくくらなかった。だから、この中に狼がいるとしても、今夜誰も殺さないことを俺は期待したい。そうすれば明日もくくらないで済む。
ありえん。
ああ、そうかもしれねえ。そうなったら、この中の誰かには明日の朝、もう会えねえことになる。これで、お別れになる。そのことは肝に銘じて、悔いのないよう、言いたいことは言っておけよ。
That bright mood suddenly changed. The mood turned heavy as everyone exchanged handshake and gave their thanks to each other. Chiemi, Haru-chan, and even Yoshitsugu-kun became teary-eyed as Kaori-san said those words to her son. If I'm gone tomorrow, live strong, you two. She was a wolf, but her words were so honest. They both listened without a word. The village heads here seemed lonely, giving Taya-san and Natakumi-san fuel for doubt, while Mochi talked to the old wolf guy. It was a moment when their relationships became very clear.
おじいちゃん
One particular impactful moment was when Haru-chan approached her lonely-looking grandfather. Her eyes were still red from her goodbyes to Yasunaga-kun and Mochi.
おじいちゃんもし私が明日起きてこなかったら
そんなことは起きん。
For a moment it looked like he knew what she was, but then...
嘘狼は必ず殺すって言ってたじゃん。おじいちゃんは春にだけ嘘をつく。優しくしてるつもり？
Kanzo-san didn't know how to respond a rarity for him.
そういうのいいから聞いて。私が死んだら、私が死んでもお酒とか飲みすぎないようにしてね。
春。
Recovering alcoholic? Kanzo-san slowly extended his hand to her, but it was too late. Haru-chan had already turned around. A grandfather and granddaughter, both awkward beyond belief. After watching their exchange, I was actually relieved that Haru-chan didn't say anything she shouldn't have, which made me question my own humanity again. Yasunaga-kun must have been in similar state of mind the first time. Feeling sympathy for the first wolves I'd encountered, I gave Chiemi, who'd approached to give her goodbyes to me, same half-hearted nice words. I'd done the same for Rikako-san, who'd finished the exchange with silent but resolve farewell.
昼間のことは許してあげるから。
もし明日会えなくても、わだかまりはなし、かい？
うん。
What was that with Haru-chan? The disgrace on my name was cleared, and she now neither disliked or liked me.
時間取らせてすまねえな。それじゃあみんな、おやすみ。
Takumi-san nonchalantly concluded that event. Everyone silently began leaving the dining hall.
久石さんも戻ってください。
I mean, I'm a wolf. We're done with the after-dinner cleanup, so I had no reason to stay behind. I didn't sense anyone in the mist, but that was because I just couldn't, not because there was no one there. Everyone was probably using this as a chance to have the secret talks they couldn't, or just silently listening to for those. It was probably a good idea to thank him. I heard someone's voices near the stairs to the dorm. Mamiya-san was talking to Hashimoto-san right where she died last time.
どのくらい本気です？
少なくとも僕ら以外は皆本気だと思う。ということは怪しまれたら殺されるわけだ。
You, Hashimoto, don't have to worry too much, I feel like, because the rope, if they try to hang you, will just snap. Maybe we will fall, and maybe we will, hurt yourself, but you won't die, I think. You have a lot of meat or fat to, protect your fall.
ジャーナリストならみんな知ってる。この世で一番怖いのは人間だよ。
ええ、オカルト絡みでも本当に人が死んだ証拠があるのは人が殺した場合だけですからね。
すみません。
I consider eavesdropping, but it have been bad if they noticed, so I called out.
久しくびっくりした。
すみません。橋本さん、昼の時はありがとうございます。
何かやったかな。
あのままだとなし崩し的に僕が殺されていたかもしれませんから。
ああ、はっはっは。
はっはっは。
君が殺されたら次は僕らってことになりそうだったしね。
確かに。でも本当助かりました。
いやいや、君には霧が出るところをちょうど助けてもらった恩もあるし、なんならこれでチャラにしようじゃないか。
Hashimoto even has pretty laugh. So far, my favorite character. I really want to base my tabletop RPG character on him. He's just so chill and smart, and he has ha 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 laugh.
わかりました。しかし、本当に夜出歩いたらまずいのでしょうか？夜の間に抜け出すとかは。
さっき私が言ったわ。
やめておいた方がいいね。こんなノームは僕も経験したことがない。夜の山じゃ遭難しかねない。低い山でも危険だ。それに村の皆さんがそれを絶対的な禁忌と感じている以上、霧よりも。
彼らが襲ってくると？
いやいやそんなことはないと思うよ。ただ信じる心というのは幻を見せることも多々ある。そんな中では努めて別のことを考えて気を紛らわせるのが最上っていうのが僕の経験則でね。
Those were some meaningful words.
橋本さんは伝説云々を信じて
Right, let me read them again. I feel like it's kind of glazed over that. The best thing to do in this situation is to distract yourself by trying to think about something else. Ah, okay. Yeah, if we're surrounded by those who believe, we will eventually join their ranks.
信じる信じないは考えていないよ。それは身の安全が確保されてから専門家が考えるね。
どうでしょうね。記事にできそうな気はしないですけど。
僕はただ穏やかにここから離れられればそれに越したことはないんだ。
なるほど。そうなるといいですね。
This was the end. I bid them good night and went on my own way. I hadn't met anyone else on my way back to the prefab. Shitsugokun didn't invite me to go out at night, and neither Chiemi nor Rikako-san visited to have a talk. They were probably satisfied with the goodbyes in the dining hall. Everyone used to struggle at this time because they hadn't felt like they'd done everything they had to. This time was different, though. Everyone was calmly waiting for the wolves to strike, fully ready for it. The humans were in the perfect mental state. There was nothing for them to worry about. And it was all because of Hashimoto-san. Then there was the exchange just now.
ああ、はっはっは。まあ、君が殺されたら、次は僕らってことになりそうだったしね。
To me that sounded like I didn't do it for your sake.
いやいや、君には霧が出るところを。
And that was like, you sure help us at a strange time, huh?
なんならこれで、チャラにしようじゃないか。
He seemed reasonably suspicious of me. Was I just overthinking it? No, that would be overly optimistic. It was clear to me that he'd made it past the first day better than anyone so far, even myself. If he really was that talented, he must have already analyzed the situation, noticed that something was strange. They happened to have their tires bars, then be given rooms and gotten caught up in the face. I'm not going to get that use that key mineral. That sounds like a bad idea. Is this even a real game? I hope you understand, but there is a lot of people advertising and trying to scam people. So, I don't know, it doesn't seem like a... Ah, this! Someone already advertised this game on my stream. I mean, thank you. It just a little bit sudden, you know. I appreciate you thinking to give me a key to the game, But if you want to advertise this way, don't just paste it into the chat, you know? Contact streamers, hey, do you want to play my game? Here's the key. Don't just leave it in chat, that's kinda weird. If it's not used by the end of the stream, I will, but otherwise someone else can play it. That is indeed weird, just to leave the key in the chat when anyone else can use it. If you want the streamer to play it, then you don't leave it in the chat. Yeah, Twitch functions. My Discord, you know, is not hidden at all. I have my Twitter DMs open, I have my Blue Sky DMs open. I mean, Simerian, if you want that, if you want to stream that game, go ahead. I'm not sure if they even heard my me talking to them, that or they just left to give another key to a streamer. If they pay you, huh? But it's not the first time someone advertised this game to me. Someone came and said that, oh, my friend is making a game like that. And then they left a link to the Steam of the game in my Discord. So, you know, I see the tactic to, you know, make people play it, the streamers play it, to advertise the game. I understand that's effective. It's just weird that it's so public, you know? You usually approach the streamers in DMs. You smell a meme. Meme, I mean. Okay, ads, so on Twitch, so I will just continue. They happened to have their tires buzzed and be given rooms and gotten caught up in their fist. It was clearly orchestrated, and I was the only one who stood out as a suspect. I'd been chosen by village head, joined them in their van, and actually gave them a place to sleep. The situation was made even worse by the fact that they were right, and that I was a wolf, since I couldn't mention the looping. I couldn't really say that I was their savior. Not only that, but he was the monkey. He secured a good role in a relationship with the others, and had a surprisingly keen eye and mind. I really like this dynamic on the slope. This new dynamic. Having a rival. He'd have been an extremely reliable ally. I'd really appreciated it when he presented the idea that we shouldn't hang anyone today. After all that, at that moment, just like Kansas-san, I thought that not hanging anyone was foolish. Thus, I thought that he was foolish too. But now, because of his idea, everyone became somewhat ready to accept someone's death, and to unify to defeat the wolves responsible. He had also succeeded in preventing the lynching way smoother than I. I could only create a stalemate, while he actually talked the people into voting for or against a hanging. Kanzo-san didn't want to look like he broke, so he hadn't changed his opinion, but he was still pretty accepting of the idea not to hang anyone. Hashimoto-san did it with great finesse, and it was something I couldn't do. We'd eventually find out if it was a good thing or not, or rather, they decided based what we wolves today. However, I'd already felt like I was falling behind him. Would I really have to defeat him? Well, there was Mamiya-san too. She was way more stable and smart than last time. The way she pointed out that Shinnai was probably Okami, great god, showed that she should be extremely useful in finding out the truth. She'd also noticed and mentioned the badger without any help, my help. She probably noticed it last time too, but hadn't mentioned it because she was a wolf. This time, with Hashimoto-san's suggestion, they decided that they would hang all liars, regardless if they were wolves or the badger. That was a smart move. It kept the humans from lying just for the sake of it and countered the badger, whether it existed or not. They were a pretty balanced pair. Mamiya-san was blunt and straightforward, while Hashimoto-san gently reproved her and provided only the best solutions. They were a much better team than I'd expected, and the fact that they were enemies was pretty bad for us. As a wolf, I had to consider the other humans too. Well, welcome back from the ads. How was it? Let me see a few things. Right. Okay. There were definitely ads indeed. I understand. You said I smell a meme coming from this. You meant from them promoting the game like that? How do you make the greatest resume in the world, Painter? I'm terrible at making resumes. Resume? Resumes? Maybe Sumerian. Do you have anything? How do you make resumes? Resumes? Ah, fuck it. Especially the Oribe brothers. After all, their mother, the demon, who tried to kill everyone who swallowed her last words for their sake, was a wolf this time. If I didn't go about this the right way, I would be the one to die. Haru-chan probably wouldn't want to kill Yasunaga-kun or Mochi either. Kanzu-san was her family too, but wasn't sure about their relationship. Still, I didn't think she'd want to kill him. And finally, could I really kill Chiemi and Rikako-san? Though it was all made by void by the looping, they liked me, and I liked them. Would I really whisper sweet nothings to them during the day, only to kill them at night? I have no idea how resumes work. I made one in my life to apply for a PhD, and that was yeah, same, I'm just horrible with them. I didn't want to do that. That thought was my last before my consciousness faded.
Eh?
I jumped up, throwing the blanket to the side. Why was I asleep? Didn't I have something to do as a wolf? I could feel myself turn pain as I realized I just made a huge mistake. But the next moment I noticed something that terrified me in a whole different way. There was something next to my legs. Unable to understand what was that, I let fear take control and pathetically backed away. Nothing was happening. I reached into my bag and took out a flashlight I got from convenience store and turned it on. I will just put my photos on right. I need a job, please. That would be good enough. Yeah, I think so, yeah. What the hell was all this? It looked like the parts of a costume. Particularly the kind used in action hero shows. No, that didn't seem right either. It was like some traditional ritual clothing. Braces, tabis, trouseri, a faded kimono, and a hakama. All of it smelled awful, like half-dried laundry being boiled. There was something that stood out more than the rest. It was a kimono underskirt with some blurry sutra-like text on it. There was another piece of cloth with similar text on it. And it was connected to something weird. Oh, was this a mask? Right. That thing had told us to wear this. We're supposed to put this on and cleanse ourselves? The bad smell made me really apprehensive. Didn't they have the order wrong? Didn't cleansing come before putting on some sacred clothing? That reminded me that I hadn't cleansed myself before sleeping. Wasn't that bad? Remembering the situation, I checked the time again. The phone I charged with a battery showed that it was at 10 o'clock. Great Lord Shinai had momentarily put me to sleep to bring this thing here. What if I hadn't woken up, man? Were they trading a fine line here? That aside. I was basically being told to put this on and go outside. I gathered my resolve. Was this good enough? Oh, look, you look kinda cool. Haruaki. Though the lightning here was poor, there were fewer pieces that I thought. That there were fewer pieces than I thought, so I put it on without much trouble. It was unexpectedly well designed, and from what I could tell, it was handsome. The mane, did the wolves even have those? Seemed to be made of rice straw. It didn't seem cheap at all, and though it wouldn't be sure, I couldn't be sure, it seemed to be designed to look divinely imposing. He looks like Anubis or Dacian. Yeah, the drip is immaculate. The mask seemed to be a wooden carving with insane amounts of detailed work put into it, a true masterpiece. I wonder just, can he even see through that? By the time I put it on, I didn't care much about the smell. It wasn't too hard to move in or anything. The inscribed cloth on the bottom was connected to the belt. I put it on like it was traditional grass skirt, and it wasn't a big hindrance for running on anything else. The cloth connected to the mask hid the face like some kind of stagehand's clothing, and I could only see ahead through the gaps between them. The wolf-like mask itself was simply resting on my forehead. As I put it all on, I found a bucket and a ladle among the items. It was full of water, and I knew I had to cleanse myself with this. I was a bit apprehensive about this, but I took out some water and poured it on my head. So much reading today! I jumped off the rice straws, making my shoulders wet or spreading across the area. Was I doing it right? I was still worried, but I just put it on was meaningless. So I put my hand on the door and sensed something bad outside. It wasn't anything vague like bloodlust or evil mojo. It was sounds I could actually hear. I heard grass being parted. I heard the sounds of something walking through the sand. Shallow breathing, low growls, distant roars full of malice. It reminded me of the time I was locked in the outhouse and sensed something outside bestial outside. This was exactly the same as last time. There was something outside. Lots of them, in fact. Last time I only survived because I held the door shut when something was about to open it. And I had to go outside this time? I'd be okay just because I was wearing this? No way. It seemed like a sick joke. Oh, but I really wanted to see it. What a familiar sensation. Just then, the doorknob clattered.
夫妻子さん起きてるの
I still heard beasts outside, but the voice clearly belonged to a girl, Haruaki Shima.
Haru-chan?
Okay. Thank you, Simmerer, for coming by. Appreciate it. See you.
気安く呼ばないでくださいよ。
安全なの？
ちゃんと路面つけて、みそぎしてれば。
Was she telling the truth? Was it really her outside? Even if it was some sort of illusion, if I didn't open, my presence in this flow of events would be pointless. I fired myself up and unlocked the door. The moment I opened the door, I saw a short wolf that scared me like hell.
はるちゃんで間違いない？
そうですよ。ほら。
She moved the cloth covering her face, and sure enough, it was Haru-chan. She was clad in a wolf outfit and had the bucket and ladle in her hands.
あなたもそれ持たなきゃ。
これ持ち運ぶの？
うん。常に巻かないと。
She took some from her bucket and spread it behind her. That action was followed by squealing sounds. It felt something squirm and ran off.
何がいるの？
汚れの運び手。
Bringers of the corruption. So they're like physical creatures? She spread some water. This time on me.
冷た。何すんの？
She repeated it a couple times, with great intensity to boot.
全然みそぎしてないじゃないですか。
I did.
そんなに全身びしょびしょにならないとまずいの？
As if she felt that explaining it was pointless, she just touched the cloth near her eyes. Sure enough, it was completely wet.
一つ聞いていいかな？
何？
それが正しいやり方だとして、なぜそれを知ってる？
なぜかな？わかる？
何か隠してない？
隠してないです。
同じ狼なら隠し事は？
何が不安なの？
Those words shut me up.
気持ちはわかるけど、私はもう落ち着いたから、あなたもすぐ慣れるよ。
わかった。
I wasn't satisfied, but I backed down anyway.
ところでデスマス言葉、慣れてないなら普通でいいよ。
慣れ慣れしくしないでください。行きましょう。香織さん、待ってるし。
I wonder who are we going to kill today? Yeah, the chasm between us was wide, but or maybe Chiemi and Rikako-san were just too easy. Apparently Haru-chan had walked through the mist without any light. I took out my small flashlight
かっこいい。
and was met with a weird reaction.
あげるよ。一応、二つあるし。
I'd prepared them in case I ended up running away with someone at night. I sure as hell hadn't expected to be a wolf though.
いいの？
うん。暗いと危ない。ちなみにどうやって来たの？
安水の道なんて覚えてるし。
Made sense. It was dangerous regardless though, so I just gave her one and showed her how to use it.
ただ、みんなにバレないようにね。夜出歩いてるなんてバレたら大変だ。
そうですね。わかった。
She spread some water again, then put the ladle back and took the flashlight.
周りに時々撒いてください。
She led me through the dark path. I could barely see anything, but I did sense something bestial in the darkness. It was clearly hostile towards us, and several of them were surrounding us from a distance. However, they didn't come any closer. They also backed away if I spread some water. The flashlight could barely make it through the mist, so it didn't help to see anything in the distance. It was pretty useless, to be honest, but Haru-chan seemed to like it. She also swung it around like a sword, or rather, a lightsaber. What were those bringers of the corruption anyway? Yeah, are they like normal wolves? Actual Japanese wolves, perhaps? Every now and then I saw lights light up in the mist. Besides that, I also heard growls and the sounds of something stepping in the sand. Dogs, right? That had to be it. The Sumiyuzu was completely full of dogs right now. That expression made it seem adorable, but seriously? No way. If my assumption was right, the situation was way scarier than some simply supernatural phenomenon. And continued spreading water, too much of it, all the way there. Yeah, this is... Maybe everything is not really supernatural at all. Like, they could put us to sleep with some kind of gas, they could manipulate through drugs. Like, it's hard to guess. It seemed supernatural, but you know. A wolf of the same stature as Kaori-san stood up from the chair in the dining hall. It was very surreal.
香織さんですよね。
ええ、ちょっと心配したわ。
もう着替えてて出るところだったみたい。
差し支えなかった？
ええ、なんとか。香織さんも段取りはご承知だったのですか？
ええ、どうしてか分かっていたわ。不思議だけど、あの時新内様にそう伺ってから。
あれ、3人いましたよね。新内様って3人いるんですか？
Yeah, there were 3 of him.
それはよくわからないけれど。
昼、記者の人が言ってたでしょ。新内様は狼様だって。私らは狼様から直接加護を授かったってこと。
Perhaps.
それで君らは納得するんだ。
だって見たじゃないですか。
Right. That strange experience did actually seem supernatural. People tended to accept anything they could see.
では行きましょうか。
え、どこにです？
殺しに。
Wait, what?
香織さん、誰殺すか決めないと。
ああ、そうだったわ。つい気が流行っちゃって。
今日の宴の感じ見たらやっぱおじいちゃんじゃないかな。
匠さんも危ないと思うわ。
待ってください。二人とも本気ですか？
何が？
肉親を殺すんだぞ。あんた息子のことが惜しくないのか？
She twitched and tilted in an unnatural way. So, but they are affected by it. It does seem supernatural, or maybe some kind of brainwashing. But he was he's an outsider. Wasn't he long enough? So maybe brainwashing doesn't work on him. I don't know.
知ってるわ。知ってますとも。惜しくないわけがないでしょ。でも仕方ないじゃない。信内様の言う通りにしなきゃ。
香織さん。
君もだ、ハルちゃん。安永君やモッチーのことを殺していいのか？
それは嫌だけど。じゃあどうすればいいのよ。3人で逃げ出すとでも？
That really wasn't the way to go. We'd get lost or killed by the monsters. The mist would just send me back to square one. All I could do here was pick one or the other. Kill one. Kill no one, massacre. Ah. Interesting choice. Let me save. Actually. Oh, darkness is the last one. I think this is all that we, all the, let's say, chapters that we are unlocked. Maybe there's like one more epilogue or something, but yeah. From what I've seen at least. Now we're just moving within those that we have left. Let me save. But not going to lie, I'm hungry. How long am I streaming for? 3.5 hours. A little bit short stream, but I have a few things to do. I think I will end it for today. And here's the thing: I'm not sure if I'm going to continue this series. Is there anyone watching interested in that? Like, I thought I would be okay with doing like another stream, another long stream, longer one maybe. But I feel like it's going to be at least 2 more streams, if not 3, from what I saw. Like the story is significantly longer than it said it was when I was starting this read through. So I don't know. It's just kind of complicated from the streaming perspective. I will for sure read it on my own time, but if I will stream this again, I will have to see. So for the VOD watchers, if there are any, there will be. I will leave a comment when I make a decision if it's going to be continued or not. I mean, if it's going to be continued, I won't leave a message. There will just be another stream. But if it's not going to continue, there will be a message in the comments that I have to think about it. How much more time I want to dedicate to this when really nobody is watching. I'm just kind of like sink cost fallacy. I went so far, so I just kind of want to finish it on stream. But kind of pointless if people are not really watching. Like, people are coming by, but more so to say hi. So, I have to think. At the beginning, there were more people interested in what is going on, but, I understand it's long. People miss stuff, so they kind of fall off from the story. It's understandable. But yeah, I will think about it, and I will either comment down below on the YouTube, or I will just continue. We'll see. I will have to think. Okay, thank you everyone who came back today. I appreciate it. It means a lot when people just combine. Combine. Stream tomorrow will be, I think, Chrono Trigger. Although we had Chrono Trigger 3 times this week, so maybe I'll switch it up. We'll see. And yeah. See you tomorrow. Bye bye. I appreciate everyone. Kisses for you and Oyasumi. Not Oyasumi. What am I saying? Oyasumun.